Very good afternoon, very good evening, shall I say, and welcome to the MODUS Super Series. That's a fantastic start to the programme. It is our Thursday night action, which means the beginning of Group B here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Well, this afternoon we saw Group C in action. Glenn Durrant was alongside myself in the commentary box to describe the action. Well, we will begin with the obviously glaring talking point, and that was regarding Sven Verdonk. Had to withdraw from that game against John Desimo. It was not a nice situation for anyone to see. Yeah,
well, I don't think what we realised is that also he's been suffering from Tuesday. I think even maybe taking some medication, trying to ease the pain and whatever. And it just got to a stage where, in his words, as I left him, Glenn, I felt like crying on the stage. And it sort of gets you a little bit. Best wishes from us all, that's for sure.
We send our very, very best to Sven. John Desimo was awarded a 4-0 walkover victory. There will be a player coming into the fold tomorrow to make sure that the full 15 games are fulfilled. As for the action we did see on day one of Group C, well, it was Dom Taylor, really, who was the big player, the big star, and he came into it as one of the favourites, and he kind of justified that tag.
Yeah, early doors he did what he needed to do. It just seemed to be playing the player. I think darts is about having levels and having gears, and Dom Taylor certainly got that. He looks very relaxed, and I'm very confident we'll be seeing him Saturday night.
Elsewhere down that table, Mal Cumming and Mark Borelli, as well as John Desimo, on 6 points. What was your assessments of their day?
Yeah, for Mark Borelli, a very big positive. I think I stood here this afternoon and I wasn't so sure. It'd been a tough few days for him, so I think he'll be very happy. Malcolm was very consistent. I think he'll see the positives. And John Desmo's just played like he has all week. It's just been up and down at times, and it maybe just needs that spark. But 3 wins for the 3 of them. They'd have took that this morning, all to play for tomorrow.
Scott Walters, do you feel unlucky to be on 4 points?
Yeah, very unlucky, I think. Once again, I've talked about Scott. I'm a big fan of his. It's just when the moments are right there, sometimes his behaviours and just that composure that's needed sometimes. But one heck of a player. I'm a big, big fan of Scott Walters. He can go through the card tomorrow, no problem.
Well, let's see the numbers then from the first day. In fact, what we will do, we'll have a look at the bracket slide, my apologies, about that. This is then how the players will split up then over the course of Group C and Group B. So Group B is what is going to begin this evening, and well, we're having a look at the bookmakers' odds early on this evening, Glenn. I've never seen a group where there's been so many games where both players have been 5 to 6 each ways.
I am really, really genuinely looking forward to Group B. I think, it's a real pick-em there. I mean, Robert Thornton will always be the headline act. I mean, he's in great form. Didn't play as well as normal, and be really interesting. He's playing on the night time now. I think that'll suit Robert. But yeah, the other 4 are very talented individuals. In fact, Chaz Barstow, I thought was going to go on to do big, big things. He was playing on the Pro Tour for a while, and I'm a little surprised he hasn't kicked on.
So that is what we're going to see this evening. Let's see what the bookmakers make of the action in Group B tonight here at the Live Lounge. They have Chaz Barstow off as the 11 to 5 favourite. They tend to do so with Chaz. Robert Thornton 13 to 5. I think we're expecting him at some point to really kick into gear. Yeah,
the value there is right smack bang in the middle. Robert Thornton doesn't play bad for 1 day, 2 day. For him to be not his best for 3 days is a surprise to us all. I really think he'll kick into gear tonight, and I think that's great odds. But yeah, Chaz Barstow, the bookies don't often get it wrong.
So that is what the bookies think. What does Glenn Durrant think? These are Does' tips for tonight's action. Very ambitious 11 to 1 treble here this evening. Just talk us through a couple of those selections of fancies.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, hence the fact it's 11 to 1. There's a couple of outsiders there. I really like Sam Cankett. I think he's a great individual, good character. I've got him for the most 180s against Jeremy Fagg. And I say, a big fan of Chaz Barstow. I thought he might have kicked on for a big win over Jeremy Fagg. And in a game between Barstow and Robinson, 180s galore.
So that is what Glenn thinks. 18 plus, begambleaware.org if you're going to have a flutter on tonight's action. Well, it is Thursday. We're in reflective mood here at the Live Lounge. And so Chris Murphy has come up with some of his best memories. He's been a very busy boy, hasn't he, this evening, one way or t'other. This is what's happened on this day in the world of darts. It's the 18th of May. Roland Shelton hitting a 9-dart leg at the Golden Harvest event. Michael van Gerwen won his third Premier League title on this day in 2017. That was, of course, that famous day where Peter Wright missed all those match darts at double eight. Dave Chisnell achieved perfection, the 9-dart leg at a Players' Championship event. And, well, this guy called Glenn Dowen won a PDC ranking title.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the one, but I think it was this day that I beat Michael van Gerwen in maybe a quarter-final or semi-final. I wore a blue and white shirt that day. It wasn't when I was in the mix of changing shirts, and I played absolutely fantastic. And if memory serves me right, I beat Darius Labanauskas 8-1 in the final. Happy days. Look what happens. 3 years later, 4 years later, I'm working with Big H.
Hey, it ain't turned out too bad then, has it?
All good.
Well, we got a fantastic evening's action here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth at the MODUS Super Series. We're going to kickstart things with Sam Kankit in action. He's going to be returning to us at the Live Lounge, a regular now in this competition. He takes on Jeremy Fagg, the Australian, who is looking to overcome his Group A disappointment and qualify for Saturday night's finals here. Right, Glenn Dowen is going to make his run down to the commentary box to describe all of the action in the company of a very happy Chris Murphy. Hello, Chris.
Yes, Henry, thank you very much. Very happy for now, has to be said. But Glenn Dowen, yeah, he was right. It was the day that he beat Michael van Gerwen in the semi-finals. And he beat Michael Smith in the quarter-finals. Whatever happened to that pair, eh? But always a good idea, Glenn, to wear a blue and white shirt. It will bring you unprecedented success. But Sam Kankit, well, he's sporting a black shirt with a little nod to his homeland of Wales with the red stripe and the red dragon on there, and no guesses for where Jeremy Fagg hails from, the green and gold of Australia for Jezza. And we have seen in action earlier in the week, of course.
Game on.
So close to making it through in Group A. It was by one leg.
60.
Level on points with Mike Warburton. Level on leg difference with Mike Warburton. Lost out on legs 1. And now he faces another Welshman in Sam Kankit. Glenn Dowen has made his way downstairs. Yeah, happy days, Glenn. I was just saying to the viewers, you were right. It was the day you beat Van Gerwen and Smith in the quarters and semis. It was Darius Labanauskas in the final.
121.
Yeah, very happy days. Yeah, looking forward to seeing Sam Kankit, a real character. He's been very generous with his information. Good friends with a guy I admire very well, Nick Kenny.
97.
So if you're listening, Nick, I'm always watching for your result and all the best to you. But it's Sam's time right now. A Welsh international. He'll be going to Ireland next month 55. For the Six Nations, a competition I absolutely loved. And the only problem with Sam that I was noticing looking back, he hasn't played a lot of darts this year, Chris. In fact, only the Welsh Open, Welsh Classic wake up to the 98. Last 32, losing to Lee Evans there. So I'm not sure how sharp he is. He is part of this unbelievable, I think it's Chepstow team in Super League with John Worsley and Nick Kenny. So maybe he's getting his match practice there, but a big step up against this guy. Very, very impressed. And treble 18 would be nice here.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Called by Glenn Dowen, executed by Jeremy Fagg, who leaves double 16 after just 12 darts to break the throw in the opening leg of the evening.
32.
It was a fantastic game of darts this afternoon and already tonight's start. I was really whetted the appetite, this Group B, and Jeremy Fagg is a big part of that, and that double 16 was as smooth as it comes.
Game on.
Kankit will try and regroup. Doesn't matter if you lose the first leg, never give up hope.
I don't know what you mean there. You'd be looking for another 4-0 here, and a lot of them gags warn you, but I have a feeling I'll be commentating on my own a lot tonight.
Now, ever the professional. These are really good darts from Sam Kankit.
140.
Well, but what do you think of Jeremy Fagg having to regroup after getting so close? Can that be a little bit tough mentally sometimes?
I don't think so, in a sense that I think he's the kind of, he's come all the way over from Australia, and I think playing the extra couple of days it's not going to hurt him too much. I mean, even Mike Warburton was the type of player who might have preferred to stay on for the 5 days. Although he alluded to in the interview with you, he's going to sort of regroup and re-energise. So I've been keen to look at his social media account, and I think he took it on the chin and very much seeing the positives of getting another couple of days' worth of action in.
Kankit we have had here before, of course, at the Super Series, and he's looking to build on that previous appearance.
44.
Yeah, started playing Super League at the age of 16. Currently playing county for the West of England. Been a while since I've played against them, but he's back to Gwent next year.
60.
Well, he narrowly missed out last time he was here, Glenn, but it was in one of these groups, so didn't have the luxury that Jez has got of having another go. And, of course, in Group B, on paper,
105.
it's easier to qualify than not qualify.
Yeah, do you know, honestly, now I know more and more about the MODUS Super Series, I think that Group A can be I don't know. I think it'd be tough to play. We saw what happened to Sven today, just the amount of darts on your body, etc.
Semi require 100.
Just coming in nice and fresh into a Group B where it's 3 from 5. If you believe in your ability, I think you've got one heck of a chance as he looks at treble 17.
131.
Setup play
Jeremy
has been
require
absolutely marvellous.
170.
All we've been missing for this week is the big fish.
Well, you can't get near the attempt, so having been
60.
broken, Kankit
Samuel
is looking to break
36.
back. Double 18 the target. He does like it here, and that's why.
Turn of the second leg, Sam
1-1.
Kenkis.
Cracking start from both.
Third leg, Sam to throw first.
Yeah, no doubt a double
Game
missed in those first couple of attempts.
Yeah, the scoring from Jeremy can kick on a little bit. But for Sam, just a nice steady
40.
start. Around about a 90 average. 1 out of 1 on the doubles. I think for Jeremy, just wants to add maybe something to complement the ton and ton 40 he's had already.
131.
Been a nice sort of trip for him to have a bit of a practice partner, someone to sort of exchange opinions with and experiences
100.
in Mal Cumming, who's played actually. It maybe worked out quite well that they didn't end up in the same group.
You know, part of me was thinking, where was he this morning? I was thinking, I was forgetting he was playing tonight, but Mal was here every dart that Jeremy threw
140.
throughout the week, but obviously got his own job to do today, and I thought he did a very, very consistent job. Played 3, played 5 and won 3 of his games. I think he'll be very happy. The Aussies are doing very, very well representing the ADC Oceanic region.
Yeah, plenty of Australian pride on show at the Super Series.
140.
Of course, we've had an Australian winner in Raymond Smith winning the second series Champions Week.
Yeah, I've been enjoying his social media pages, Raymond Smith.
100.
I think he's really opened up the
90.
floodgates for the guys to come over. It's big news now as the MODUS Super Series, big prize and big finish here would be nice. Double 15.
Game shot on the
That's
third
how you
leg,
do it.
Jeremy
Clinical,
Fay.
smooth. Only required the 2 darts, and there's a real special feel when you have a finish like that to do it in 2 darts. And he's
Fourth leg,
telling his
Jeremy to
opponent,
throw
who's
first.
also in very good form,
Game on.
and he's here to play well. And them couple of days match practice in Group A is really suiting Jeremy at the moment. Average just shy of 100.
Yeah, well, he'll want to have a better
91.
leg on his own darts here, won't he, Jeremy? Because he's broken in 13 and 11, but then he let Sam Kankit back in between.
97.
Remember, Kankit threw first, so if he does break back, it's still very much in his hands.
And that's really what he should be thinking. If he does strategise and looks into it, but I think Sam's the type of character, it's just 1 dart at a time. And
140.
Jeremy Fagg looks really focused. And what I mean by that is a real hint of disappointment when the 180s aren't going in. That's a clear indication that he's feeling good about himself up there. He
45.
probably doesn't know an awful lot about Sam. I couldn't separate an awful lot between the 5, apart from I still see Robert Thornton as the class act.
Yeah, Robert Thornton, the other player along with Jeremy, coming into this
100.
group. He had a bit of a sort of a lonely Group A, didn't he? He was just in third all the time, basically. Never really threatened the top 2 and never really looked like being caught.
Yeah, it was
60.
a strange Group A for Robert
Jeremy
Thornton. One I
O'Barr,
wasn't expecting.
170.
What I'm not expecting is not to have a 170 this week. Is this the moment? And he's got a couple of options here now. And just looking at his eye line, I think he was thinking of going for a double. But the big fish has been reeled in, and the crocodile on the back there is smiling very happily. The
Fifth
moment
leg,
of
Sam
Group B
to throw first.
in this very
Game on.
early stage. And look at those numbers.
Yeah, winning legs now are 13, 12 and 11 for Jeremy Fagg. That's why
59.
his stats are so high. And that big 170 checkout, a real moment for him to savour. And still, Glenn, no dart missed at a double, including the bullseye.
Sometimes you can build up a group.
134.
I was even talking this afternoon how much I was really looking forward to this Group B. I know it's very, very early. I know it's very competitive early this match, but just look at Jeremy's
81.
performance going into this match this week. After 15 games, his highest average was 98.56. Already he's exceeding that in his first game. The conditions in there are brilliant tonight. We talked about the whole
43.
acoustics of the building. It's lovely and warm. It's just brilliant stage set up there. Some of the players who play in the MODUS Super Series now are saying it's the best stage they've played on.
100.
A fantastic referee in your picture there. And now we're seeing beautiful darts to complement all of that.
Yeah, Danny McNamara stepping in to the official
58.
position this evening. Stage side, closest view in the house. And seeing a decent match in the opener.
Yeah, I think it's even better than decent. I think it's been a mighty fine match, actually, and the stats are absolutely superb. And Sam Canker is not going down here without a fight. Jeremy's throwing everything at him.
84. Samuel
He
Juan,
had that maximum
81.
finish, but that's actually the first 180 of the game. Doesn't have to go 12 ball. Treble 10 was the target.
49.
A little bit close to the treble 20 for my liking.
I'll tell you what would make him think here. A 180 now. It's not going to be. You see the likes of Michael van Gerwen employing such tactics, don't you?
Yeah, Michael van Gerwen
50.
has pulled out of his semi-final of the Premier League tonight as
32.
Sam Canker looks at double 16.
Game shot on the
This
fifth
is
leg.
absolutely
Sam
quality.
Cankett.
And there's one stat I must show you at this point. 5 darts at a double between them. 5 darts hit.
Fifth leg, Jeremy
Quality
to throw
of the
first.
highest order.
Game on.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. How you finish. So, Jeremy Fagg looking to close it out, but if he does have an off leg or Cankett has an on
60.
one, then we'll have a decider in which Sam would have the darts, despite what's been a real blistering display from the Australian.
Yeah, it's been a real barrage, and he's thrown 3 beautiful darts there.
96.
But only scored 60, and he's itching to get to the hockey there. The signs for me is that Jeremy's feeling good, but just very calmly, Sam's behind him. And I tell you, it becomes very interesting if he can break Jeremy at this point,
100.
because he would have the dart in the last leg.
Yeah, and he's making a move here in the gravy. Dipping his crusts.
100.
Tasty tungsten tossing from Sam Cankett.
And I like the aggression at the end, just the little grit of the teeth, the come on. I really like that in a player.
41.
Yeah, Fagg is having that off leg. He had that kind of in leg 2 as well. When he's been on, he's been brilliant, unbeatable. Forcing his opponent into
81.
4 visit legs to take them. But here, it's all about Cankett in this one.
And I'm just wondering, Jeremy Fagg has played his opening game Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and lost all 3. And a 3-1 up there. Did it cross his mind
95. Samuel
to think
Juan,
this will be my first
144.
opening win of the MODUS Super Series?
And it's a fact you can't ignore, isn't it? And on the first 2 days, he actually
44.
lost the first one and then won all of the following 4. Sure, he will be aware of it.
A 44 from Canker just makes it interesting. That looks in that second dart, so you might look at the bullseye.
99. Samuel Juan,
That one I
100.
don't agree with. Sam Canker, 2 darter, and what an opener that is. Big dart in this match. Big
Game
moment,
shot on
big
sixth
player.
leg,
Sam Canker,
Sam
3-3
Cankett.
with the obligatory fist pump. This is going all the way. This has been quality right the way through.
Seventh and final
Nail-biting
leg,
stuff
Sam to throw first.
In the opener
Game on.
in Group B, week 2 at the Super Series of Series 4, we saw Danny Lauby get through.
81.
Got through Group C on 10 points with 5 wins and 5 defeats.
Sometimes when it's your week, and the thing
100.
about someone like the Dan Laubys, we've seen a lot of flair players this week. If they get it right on Saturday night, sometimes consistency is great in a league format.
120.
That was pointing at you, Glenn.
It was.
Yeah, hope you weren't too close to the TV at home for that one.
Had your 3D gigs on in the 1980s, you would know.
134.
Nice cover from Jezza.
Just a lovely game, this. Great rhythm. Good scoring. Combination of big finishes. Highlight the 170. Hope this continues for the rest of the night.
$42.
So 177 with 6 darts for Kankert. He becomes a heavy, heavy favourite right now. A big 17.
154.
Overcooked it, shouldn't matter.
He's still feeling it a little bit, but he'd be delighted to look over to see Jeremy's on 225.
58. Sammy require 23.
23 for the match, the opening win of this very tough group. It's double 8.
Game.
And
shot,
what an
and
enjoyable game that
Sam
was. A
Kankert.
big 4-3 victory for Sam Kankert. Come down from 3-1 down against the very impressive Jeremy Fagg, who hit that wonderful 170. But Sam Kankert races off the stage there, where it's food for thought for Jeremy Fagg. But what an excellent game, and look at those checkout stats, and look at that big fish finish. A wonderful opener to a very strong Group B. And next up, it's Chaz Barstow against Robert Thornton. I wouldn't miss that one.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Sam Kankit is beating Jeremy Fagg by 4 legs to 3, doing so with a 92.5 average and 4 out of 6 on the doubles. Next up for us, Chaz Barstow is in action. He takes on Robert Thornton, and as with every game, I'd like to know what the score is. Murph, what do you think about this one?
Glenn?
I think he's a little bit cheeky, H, there, isn't he? I'm saying absolutely nothing, but I'm really, really looking forward to this game. I'd even say 18 months ago, this could very come to being a very tough Players' Championships game, because Chaz Barstow was just having one of them seasons where he was getting invited to all the Players' Championships. He was doing great on the Challenge Tour, and arguably the best amateur not to have a Pro Tour card. And for whatever reason, he hasn't really kicked on. I was very surprised he didn't qualify for IQ School this year against the real heavyweight of Robert Thornton, one of the best players to represent the MODUS Super Series. I mean, when you just look at his CV, you forget how good he is, how he was the UK Open winner, World Grand Prix, and the damage he's doing in the seniors. And I must admit, this was the one game that I looked at when the fixtures came out, and I think the winner of this can really kick on from here.
140.
And I can reveal that we will have an exclusive interview with Robert Thornton, the life and times and career of one of the all-time greats, you'd have to say, of this game. Winner of the World Masters, the UK Open, the World Grand Prix, 2 World Seniors Championships and a World Seniors match play as well. That is some CV.
Yeah, I remember that World Masters, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Darryl Fitton. But I go back to a British Open in Bridlington and just watching a couple of games as you do, walking around.
137.
Mark Borelli was on one board and Robert Thornton was on the other. And honestly, it was just 140, 180, 100, and then the next leg exactly the same.
60.
Remember the name Robert Thornton, I thought.
Yeah, real class player. As you mentioned, Chaz Barstow. He had that spell a couple of years ago when he got into the World Championship from his appearances.
Robert Require 100.
The Pro Tour, etc. Played Michael van Gerwen at Ali Pali.
Yeah, that's his best moment in darts. Chatting with him before.
Chaz Require 153.
He arrived here, but Robert Thornton didn't think he'd play bad tonight. And it's got a funny feeling if he gets the momentum going, and a big win over Chaz here.
100. Robert Require 24.
3 darts to double 12. There's his marker. There's the reset.
Not common for him, is it, that kind of thing? But it's worked for him on that occasion.
It's something I promote as well. I've tried to, especially a lot of the quick players, and something I've worked on with John Desmarais this week. They can just give themselves what I call the rub cross. Just that second, a little bit of composure. And you're absolutely right. It's not something I'd introduce to Robert's game, right? You know,
60.
Because it's not how he does it, and usually when there's a double there. But for a second, he just took his time. It's a nice feeling when it goes in last dart.
Funny you mentioned Rob Cross, one of 4 players to have beaten Phil Taylor and Michael van Gerwen in major TV finals. Raymond van Barneveld and Gary Anderson and Robert Thornton.
140.
Yeah, I did a little bit of work for the World Seniors, a bit of preparation, and I was just, wow, Robert Thornton was so good. And is so good. I've seen him at the World Seniors, and I won't lie, I honestly thought Scott Mitchell was going to dominate the seniors when I realised, because he was so match sharp, I felt. I was watching his
57.
career, Scott, at the end of his Players' Championship and his Pro Tour and his Pro Tour card, and he was still scoring as well as ever. But Robert Thornton was like, no, I'll have a bit of him.
100.
He is the type of player, though, who does thrive off being written off, doesn't he, Robert Thornton? When he won that UK Open, 250 to 1 outsider.
98.
Wasn't it the year it was freezing cold as well? Was that the year that Robert won it? I think there was an issue at the venue where all the heating went off with all the snow outside.
It would have been colder where he's from.
60.
The Ayrshire Ace.
Robert Require 146.
A lot of people start on the 19s. They're very traditional, is Robert. Treble. Arguably, it doesn't put too much pressure on this 101, and this 101 finishes what a lot of dart players like to practice on. So Chaz has probably done this thousands of times. As he looks at tops,
61.
Just bends the way, he scratches his head, and what that's telling you is he thought that was in. Could be bull. It is the bull.
61.
I was almost surprised it was the bull, because that first dart did look very inviting, but it is a missed opportunity for Thornton to double his lead. Now Barstow can break. Double 10. He resets as well. Actually adjusted his position slightly there.
No score.
Maybe he wish he hadn't.
Robert require 25.
The double 4. That's the Borelli route.
21.
I thought that was a big moment. I just don't feel Chaz has come out the blocks
40.
by any stretch of the imagination.
Game shot on the second leg.
He just stays in it at 1-1. Yeah, Sam said he struggled to sort of plan his darts right now. He's done a bit of renovation on his house and he's waiting on a hospital appointment as well. So it's just darts have sort of been secondary.
46.
I felt like, I said to him like 18 months ago, I genuinely thought you were going to go on and do really big things. Round about the time he played Van Gerwen at Ali Pali, just hasn't seemed to where he's been a real stalwart, the MODUS Super Series, and rightly so, a big favourite going into the competition.
96.
Yeah, both players very, very strong when they hit their highest levels. We haven't really seen that in this match yet.
56.
Thornton with all that pedigree, but he has pitched his tent now, hasn't he, in Super Series and Seniors darts. That's where he sees his future.
Yeah, he didn't go to Q school. He is someone I was talking to.
140.
The seniors fella, he is one of them players where they'd be very, very comfortable still with a professional tour card. But yeah, he's made that decision to defend his World Seniors title, and it was a great decision.
Seen one big fish finish. Will we see another one?
68. Chazzy require 80.
We don't, but we might see this. Double 10.
60. Robert require 102.
So options here, he can stay there. He went for the treble 14 route.
52. Chazzy require 20.
Chaz to hold his throat.
Inch
It's
on the
2-1
third
to
leg,
Barstow. Robert Thornton, I am really surprised once again at his form right now. I know he's in great form because it was only a few weeks ago
Game on.
when we saw him at the World Seniors. But it hasn't been his week so far.
Yeah, they were maybe... Look, he won the title. He was, by most metrics, the best player, but he did get sort of rivaled in that tournament by Leonard Gates, who, of course, went on to win the Champion of Champions, didn't he? And a man that we've seen here at the Super Series as well. That Seniors tour is getting stronger and stronger, isn't it?
Do you mean since I left? Is that what you...
No?
Better from Thornton.
I didn't know you were in it, Glenn. What?
Yeah, you may be getting excited now if Sheffield Wednesday scored or something. Or...
54.
I don't know. I'm watching the darts.
Very professional.
Well, Thornton only manages to score a 1 with his
24.
first start and a 3 with his third. So even though Chaz Barstow's miles back in this leg, it might not be over.
Yeah, the consistency of the 180, then the 24. How many times does that happen as a dart player?
59.
It's so frustrating. But he's in a great position to make it 2-2, but these are flying all over. And typical of Thornton.
125.
That's exactly what he does, and he'll tell you exactly how he's feeling throughout this Group B. Just by his arms and his demeanour.
86. Robert requires 76.
Wouldn't make a great poker player.
Yeah, certainly not. You'd like to play him, wouldn't you, when you need to rake in the pots?
36.
Once again, just bends the way in that tops. Chaz Barstow, you feel, is already thinking, well, it's going to be a best-of-3 match. And I've got the darts.
140. Robert require 40.
You do feel confident when Thornton has darts at tops. And that second dart will feel nice. Going to be a very tight group tonight. The first game was an absolute cracker.
Chaz to throw first.
After the opening 4 legs in this, it's 2-2.
Yeah, we do make that point about tops with Robert Thornton, but it comes from the fact that he was so good on it when he went into that World Grand Prix that he
68.
won. He was heavily tipped to actually win that title, and he seemingly began and finished every single leg on that target.
Yeah, I always found it strange that James Wade
100.
never went off on double 10 in the Grand Prix. He stuck to tops, and for me, can you think of someone better on a single double than Thornton on
81.
tops, Wade on tens?
Yeah, there was a time. I think you could throw in for a spell the double 14 Suljevic as well, and maybe, just maybe, the Glen Durrant
121.
double 16. How about that one?
Yeah, it's a strange one. People will say, how do you and why did you? But, they talk about
100.
weight management, they talk about muscle memory, etc. But muscle memory, your muscles don't have memories. It's just confidence. It's just the practicing on the double that way. You're going for it. You just feel it's
42.
going to go. It's a strange feeling.
Yeah, of course, as well. You've got to say, Phil Taylor, Michael van Gerwen don't tend to have a double everyone remembers because they hit them all.
44.
Whatever they went for.
Thornton's right back in this match now. Couple of trebles here would be nice.
100.
Topsy-turvy game, but that last treble there could mean an awful lot. The massive scoring of Chaz Barstow hasn't been evident totally in this game. I'm not
55.
totally confident of
Robert
where his
Duvall,
game is right now.
138.
Yeah, he certainly hasn't been the same player since, well, the Super Series as it is started here in Portsmouth, that he was when he regularly turned up in Southampton.
Yeah, I go back to
52.
the invite he was getting at the Pro Tour, and he was
153.
deadly. He was so dangerous. He was in good company. You could see he was happy on the table he was with. Just hasn't really gone right for him since.
30. Robert Duvall,
Well, Thornton, once again, looking at this 86, he got to go at the ball earlier on, but now he's got a couple of darts. The double 16, the dozer. Come on, Glenn, tell him how to do it.
Game shot of the fifth leg.
Robert, what you,
Thornton.
oh, he's done it already. But it's absolutely fantastic dart, because it's nice when you get a dart which you're not sort of renowned for. Double 16's not
Six
the
leg
area the
Robert
ball he
to
likes to be
throw
hit.
first.
But with
Game on.
Chaz Barstow right behind him there, that was a big moment in this match. And now he has the dart. Now he has to kick on.
Yeah, we're seeing that Thornton fight.
134.
Great switching there as well. Yeah, not the quality that we saw from that first match, and that might be players watching
60.
the practice room, don't they? And they might look at this thinking, actually, these were two of the fancies to go through from this group. They look very beatable on this evidence.
It's something we've never
85.
talked about, actually, in this comms box. I never really thought, because it's a very small players area, 2 boards. Obviously, usually 6 players, 5 players tonight.
57.
I never really thought of players sort of looking over. What we have talked about is the camaraderie, the friendships that people have made through the MODUS Super Series. But now,
140.
friendship for Robert Thornton is right on that treble 20 bed.
I just wonder if you might think about 17s being such a tops merchant, though
Robert Duvall,
Barstow's so far
142.
back. Well, is he staying on the treble 20? I think partly because Barstow will unlikely leave a finish from 299. Not impossible, of course.
58.
Well, it was a strange way to go if he was going to try and leave a finish, wasn't it, Glenn?
Yeah, I think
59. Robert
there'd
Duvall,
be concerns for
84.
Chaz now, as Robert Thornton will run away with this 84, you would think. Treble 17. Double 16, he's been here already once, and he's
Game,
there
shot,
again for a
and the
big
match,
4-2
Robert
victory.
Thornton.
A strange game, but in the end a 2-2. Robert really put the afterburners on, and food for thought for Chaz Barstow, the big favourite going into this group. It's a tough, competitive group, but Robert Thornton is up and running. Big 4-2, and next up we see the return of Sam Cankert against Humberside's Rhys Robinson.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
Well, before the break, we saw the fantastic Fawn get his campaign off to a winning start. Robert Thornton getting the better of Chaz Barstow by 4-2. Next up, Reece Robinson in action up against Sam Kankit. Kankit, we've seen a few times before at the Super Series. So let's delve into his all-time stats. Winning just under half of the legs that he's played. Checkout ratio 33% is what we like to call the par for the course here at the Super Series. 42 maxes and a running average of 83.44. He takes on Reece Robinson, the last player we're yet to see so far this week. Well, there is going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, but who is going to pay the penalty in this one? Let's find out. Chris Murphy, Glenn Durrant.
Thank you so much, Henry. Yeah, the guy in your picture, Sam Kanker, I thought was excellent in his first game with Jeremy Fagg. A little bit disappointed not to get over the winning line in the end. Showed a lot of quality.
Game on.
And Reece Robinson, he was our checkout of the series winner for a fabulous bull, 18 bull in Series 3. But in Series 4, he's averaging 180.
Yeah, his favourite ever game, Reece Robinson. Q School final against Messer Glenn Durrant. I thought I had it made me, then had to go the next day to win 2 games.
46.
Hasn't really, dare I say, has he underachieved a little bit for someone as talented as Reece Robinson from Humberside. Great player, you know, his
59.
name was bandied around a lot from a very young age, and I think all the talent is there. It's just a case of piecing it all together, and be interesting to see where his game is right now.
Yeah, one of many
93.
players as a youngster regarded as the next big thing, really, and hasn't quite materialised, but is maturing now, finding his feet, finding a level that he hopes to
95.
just build on gradually rather than this sort of meteoric rise that he's only afforded to a few special talents.
Yeah, I wasn't so sure about his chances of getting through the group.
130.
And for the guy in your picture, there was a fabulous opening match, a fabulous win. Once you get them 2 points on the board, you can really kick on from there. But Reece Robinson has come out the traps. Like trap 4 at Sunderland.
They open with the 180. Just a bit messy on the finish there, but he's got all the time in the world. Tops.
32.
Kankit can just try and ruffle the feathers of Reece Robinson with a big visit here, but it doesn't seem to be materialising. That helps a little.
20.
Yeah, I don't think he'll panic too much as Reece goes for double 10. He's done all the hard work. He's done the groundwork. Just can't put the double to bed. And there's the wry smile.
Samuel Warren,
That's utter
92.
frustration, that, I can assure you. Very aggressive, and it's paid off for 2 darts at double 16. That is how you do it, Sam Kankers. This evening has started very, very nicely, because for the majority of that leg, he was second best. And to win them ones without any sign of emotion, he'd be feeling good about himself right now.
Yeah, started really well for Reece Robinson, but it all
58.
unfolded. Actually, when he missed the big number, gave himself fewer darts than he could have had at double, then went inside, inside, inside. And that's what can happen.
And it's tough for Reece now, because your mind's thinking, I should be 1-0 up. And then you're telling yourself, just forget about the last leg. But it does linger. You know, the good and the greats can move on very quickly. The
95.
overthinkers, it can ruin a whole match for you. So it's really important at this stage that he kicks on from now.
134.
Great visit there, though, from Robinson. Doesn't look like there's a hangover.
97.
I think this group is so tight, we could even be looking at a real penalty shootout at the end of it.
83.
Just for my own purposes, I hope it doesn't go into extra time this evening.
83.
Perfect half for Reese. Begging for a max.
100.
Look at Sam Cankett's counting there, though. 18 to leave 168 with his last dart. Should be on a finish now, and he has hit 2 big trebles.
Yeah, he's been punished. He doesn't look too dejected. I'm not really sure he's understanding where he is right now. But for Reese Robinson, he messed about with his doubles in the first leg. Big moment already in this match. A big player.
Second leg, Reese
Parity
Robinson.
between Robinson and Cankett at 1-1.
Yep, all square.
Third leg, Reese to throw first.
And Robinson just
Game on.
taking a deep breath before approaching the Oki. Open this match with a 180 on throw. It all unravelled at the end of the opening leg. But he's fought back well.
121.
Having said that, we don't know. Cankett could have taken that leg had he left himself a finish.
Yeah, there's something beautiful about hitting a big one and then hearing the 1-2-1 score can really hurt an opponent.
40.
I think the hangover for Cankett is there. He needs to stay on his shirt tail right now because he has got control of this group very early. It was a big win over Jeremy Fagg. There's nothing to separate these 5 players.
60. $60.
I can't seem to find the target there, the Welshman. This is on the money, though, from Robinson. You mentioned it earlier, 2 other players, FDM, but to me, Reese Robinson, it's certainly that first dart merchant.
I was slightly disappointed with Chaz Barstow tonight, and I wasn't so sure where the game was of Reese Robinson. Very early after 2 legs.
140.
I think he's in good shape. And a 140 here would be nice, but you're thinking of a ton. Got total control of this leg, and as soon as I say that,
28.
that's an absolute disaster. Just gives Cankett a chance, but Cankett needs to start finding that treble 20 bed again. Go back upstairs.
91. Raise your
Once
bar,
again, he leaves the big fish.
152.
Not going to take it. The 152, but Cankett. Well, last leg he didn't leave a finish when he could have. Hit 2 trebles that would have left him a double. Now can he hit the 2 trebles? That does give him a go at the bullseye. There's one. Not to be.
99. Raise your bar, 53.
He's 1-1 in the stakes of not messing about with doubles.
43.
And now it's happening again. The first leg
Sammy requires 71.
played out once more.
You just can't afford to do that against players like Sam Cankett, but he'll be disappointed with that. It now means the bullseye comes into consideration.
46.
Just a little bit sloppy, and he'd be angry with himself there,
10.
but 10's never a gimme. Looks like he's going to be aggressive and go straight for it and right in the corner there.
Robinson.
It's Reese Robinson who takes control. It's back on throw. He does look the better player between the 2 of them.
Fourth leg, Sam to throw first. Game on.
Will come down after that blocker. To great effect as well. The 19's hitting in this match. In fact, all night so far has been excellent.
And for the fear of repeating myself, there's 5 great players we're looking at in this Group B. It's really tasty, and you're going to see darts like that.
190.
Reese Robinson's 3rd of this match.
You can't find a way over that one, so again a chance to hit
59.
that treble 19. Round about the crossbar there. Now when he comes back, it would be interesting to see if he gets his maths right, because you see it once, it can just be an error. You start to see it 2 or 3 times, you think it might be a problem. But he does go for the 18s first, giving himself the best chance of leaving a finish, but he's not got a great chance of winning this leg after Robinson has kicked off maximum 134.
Just looks in good nick, Reese Robinson. Sam Cankett did a good job on Jeremy Fagg, And I fully expect him to kick on from there.
97.
Reece Robinson and Chaz, like I said, I just wasn't 100% sure. And after the first set of games, I think Reece Robinson's the guy who's impressed me the most.
58. Reese, you require 90.
Had the luxury of going that route.
81.
That's the only problem with being so aggressive in that double 18 there. I do like players who just set up that double, especially when someone's on 1-9-2. Because the hardest part of this 9 finish right now, albeit Sam Kanker's not putting the pressure on.
80. Reese, you
1-1-2,
require
certainly
9.
not a gimme. Don't miss the fat one. 2 darts, and that's the bit I like. That's what we call the reset. A little exhale of breath.
Game shot of the
For me,
fourth
that's
leg.
the
Reese
reasons
Robinson.
why them darts go in. Sometimes when panic doesn't set in, and that's what when players talk about composure. When they've
Fifth
got
leg
one
Reese
penalty
to
to win a
Rovers.
competition, that's the composure that you
Game on.
need.
Well, he's one leg away here.
60. 60.
Yeah, when you need to follow, when you go trebleless, you need to follow. And unfortunately, Sam Kanker didn't on that occasion. Reece Robinson will be all over that.
96.
Like a rash. There's something about winning late on. It feels really good, doesn't it, Chris?
85.
Ecstatic. Must be the most incredible feeling in the world.
You must be a big Reece Robinson fan. That
55.
excitement in your voice right now, Chris.
The blue shirt. He's getting there in this match.
58.
Kankit won his first game, don't forget, so it won't be too much of a damaging defeat, this one. Chris Mason always says if you
58.
get through your first night in this group with winning half your matches, then you're in a very good position.
100.
There'll be plenty of twists and turns in this Group B, that's for sure.
Yeah, some twists are...
You'll get players coming from 4-0 down and
not
winning
quite
very late
4-0,
on.
not quite 4-0, Glenn, I don't think, but yeah, some twists are
55.
too incredible to script. And
You just need a little bit of Sheffield steel about you. That's what Reece Robinson from Humberside. But Sam Kanker's fighting back here.
100.
I have to say, and this is really cruel of me, what Glenn's getting at is that my team, Sheffield Wednesday, have just somehow got through the playoff semi-final. When we both had our teams playing, Glenn, and one of us got through, I would not have thought it would have been me.
98.
We did call it this morning. Kanker looks at 93 now. Treble 19. And Reece Robinson has been absolutely superb. I mean, the averages are just shy of 90 for Reece, but I just think he's put a
66.
very professional job.
Reece
And some
Roy,
missed doubles
55.
early doors. If he can tidy up on these, if he hits this top seat, it's a big win. It's double 10 now.
45.
When he's missed, it's been the same misses, hasn't it, every
Samuel
time?
Warren,
Inside
32.
tops, inside tens. Kankit gets a reprieve. He could bounce it off that as a good guide. But now he's in traffic.
24.
And the red light makes him stop.
Reese, you require 10.
I think every 2 points is going to be exaggerated because they're going to be beating each other by the looks of it after the first set of that.
No
But
score.
that-
Samuel
It's a good
require
dart in a
8.
way, isn't it? But it's the wrong side. I mean, you could argue he should be aiming in the middle of the double five, therefore it's a bad dart, but it's so
Game
close
shot
to
of the
going
fifth
in.
leg, Sam Kanker.
And that's why Kankit has apologised. He knows that Reece has been unlucky there.
And that's what we call an average buster.
Six leg Sam to throw first.
Both are averaging
Game
around
on.
about 90 going into that leg. Because they're missed doubles now, forget the averages. Now it's just about the 2 points. And Sam Kankit has come alive.
125. $97.
He could do this again. He could wrestle back a 3-1 deficit and win the match. That's exactly what he did in game 1.
59.
Be nice 2 VIP tickets for you away to Middlesbrough next year. That actually wasn't a joke. I'll get that sorted for you.
140.
Very kind. And don't forget, you can have the VIP experience here at the Modus Super Series. All you got to do is scan that QR code.
140.
Or head to dartshop.tv. Tickets are available. Couple of quid booking fee, that's all. Saturday night, 7:30 start. Doors open at 6:30. And just have a look back at our finals night from Champions Week. The full final, the full session is on our YouTube channel. What a great atmosphere. Scan that QR code. Sorry, I got a little bit clumsy with my fat fingers there. That's the correct one.
Treble 18.
100.
Went down the route of let your opponent hear the 180. But he has left double 13. Is he going to be back? He certainly is. This is the moment now for Rhys Robinson. He's
Raise your wire 26.
had opportunities. And this is the biggest of them all.
Unlucky 13.
14. Samuel Require 24.
And now Kankit aiming at the double dozen.
Shot of the 6 legs. Sam
You see there, his dart drifted into the corner and went in, where earlier Rhys Robinson's match dart drifted into the corner and went the wrong side. There the margins.
7th and final
sometimes
leg.
when it's your day as well, and
first.
your mind's telling you you're fighting with yourself. And for Rhys Robinson, he should be back in the players area. So how do you fight from that? I'll tell you what, this is the way to start it. And look at Sam Kankit's face there. That is a sign of character. In a match where you should have had done and dusted. And then when it comes down to that final leg decider, you have the dart and you open up with the 180.
Look at that.
Absolute credit to the man.
Five 180s. 6. Is it going to be 6?
180.
We could be having the biggest sporting moment of the night here, Chris.
I'll tell you what, Glenn.
60.
It's all yours.
Raise your wire 141.
The guy that beat me at Q skill, Rhys Robinson. We weren't exactly sure where his game is, but I'll tell you what, after the first set of dart, he'd be very, very impressed. And on for a 10-darter, the Humberside man has really shown his class.
Yeah, record haul of maximums. He's looking for that.
Raise your wire 24.
Perfect 10 after nearly nailing the 9. And that is some way to close out a win. Electric stuff from Rhys Robinson at the finish, hitting an incredible 6 180s, 2 of them in the final leg to tee up a possible 9-darter, taking it out in 10, a 4-3 win against the plucky Welshman Sam Kankit, an average of 90.39 in the end for Rhys. The big problem was chasing those doubles around, but it didn't stop him picking up 2 points in his first match of the night. Next match is Jeremy Fagg against Chaz Barstow.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Reece Robinson has hit 6 Maximas en route to beating Sam Kankit by 4 legs to 3. Incredible scoring display from Robinson in his first game this week at the Live Lounge. Right, next up for us, it is Jeremy Fagg in action up against Chaz Barstow. 2 players looking for their first win of the night. And watching this one in the commentary box, Chris and Matt.
What you said, Chris and Matt then? It is Glenn, by the way, but it's Jeremy Fagg in your picture there. Involved in another excellent first game. Been a strange day and a strange week for Jeremy Fagg in his opening games. Put himself in winning positions and hasn't won any, but he has bounced back very, very well after that. So he'll be still feeling confident, because I thought at times in that opening game with Sam Kankit, he looked in really good shape, really at ease with his game, and just couldn't get over that winning line. But for Chaz Barstow's a real big hitter in amateur darts, a real top player, the bookies' favourite to win this group. It was a really must-do better performance against Robert Thornton, so I'm keen to see how this goes. And you feel the man in your picture after watching Chaz will feel confident getting over the line in this one. Or will we see the best of this man, because his best can demolish any player.
140.
Impressive start, promise from the Prince of Winchester. Jeremy Fagg, though, just rendering it irrelevant. I'll take your 140, I'll raise you a maximum. Just on what you touched on there, Glenn. When you're in a practice room, Premier League or
41.
any big major tournament, the Lakeside perhaps, and there's a screen in the corner, are you watching potential rivals? I know you might not be playing them that night, but you're thinking I might have him in the next round. Let's see what kind of form he's in.
Oh, at Lakeside, I found a little pub which I used to go, and I used to do all my homework in there. I was one of them players who would study a Chaz Barstow, would look at Jeremy Fagg. But I tell you what, if I was watching Jeremy Fagg right now, I'd be nervous playing him next, because after 9 darts, he wants double 10.
Oh, almost, Glenn. Back-to-back 10-dart legs. Because we ended the previous match with that.
Game shot of the first
I'll tell
leg.
you what, he won't worry
Jeremy
too much, because that's a stonking good start from Jeremy Fagg. A little 12-darter, just letting Chaz Barstow.
Second leg, Chaz to throw first.
No, who's the daddy?
Fagg is smoking at the start of this one.
140.
Chaz Barstow might be put out before long.
I'm the butt of your jokes right now, aren't I?
Wow. Well, these really are red-hot darts. This is an astonishing start to the match. He's already at 3-1. He saw 6 in the previous match, and he said, I'm not having that. I want more.
With 136 average, this is when you need Henry Deacon in the comms box.
Well, he is on that balcony. You might see him fall down backstage in a minute.
He just called me Matt. He said, welcome to Chris and Matt.
57.
I think people are just trying to wind me up today.
Sorry, what did you say, Matthew?
I thought you were going to call me Benson and Hedges.
121.
Better from Barstow. I've studied this throw all week, Jeremy's. Seems to pull back as the dart goes back, as well as body and head
52.
goes with it. Chaz, again, very elegant, very tall.
$125.
Yeah, he's kind of been awoken, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was a disappointing opener. Like I said, I'm not really sure where Chaz's game is right now. Like I said, the bookies did make him a favourite in a very, very competitive
74.
group. It's uncharacteristic of Chaz Barstow, even that
34.
big one there, because any
116.
sniff of a finish and he usually puts it to bed. This is the finish we like as a dart player. He has to move across the hockey for treble 20. Just below the desired target.
40.
And that one's rejected.
Chaz, you require 40.
After that first
Shot of the second
leg,
leg,
Barstow would have
Chaz
felt he needed all the
Barstow.
help he could get, but it's a good response. And it's all square.
Third leg, Jeremy to throw first.
6 180s, Reece Robinson there. That's pretty special.
41. 59.
Yeah, does his tips. Opened up with a winner. And in this one, I had a big victory for Chaz Barstow.
93.
I don't know how confident I am now the way he has that opening game against Robert Thornton. But rest assured, if he does kick in, like I said, he's one of the very, very best who's played on that stage.
41.
Having cast your eye now over every single player we will see this week, what does us early tip to be lifting the trophy on finals night?
Well, the easy answer.
140.
Easy answer is Mike Warburton, who I thought, especially on day 3, when he started hitting the magnificent 100-plus finishes. I just liked everything about him over the first 3 days. I'm a big one about attributes as well. Your behaviours on there, you know, to complement your skills of being a dart player. So he would be the obvious answer. But I was impressed with Dom Taylor also today, in the sense that I think there's a lot more to come, and I don't often remember someone dominating the groups and then winning the Saturday night. I do like the Mike Gillett stories and
81.
You know, the Danny Lauby stories who peak again on Saturday night. So yeah, and the guy in your picture, Jeremy Fargo, albeit he needs to get underway with a victory now, because one of these two players will be sat on 0 points after 2 games, and in such a competitive group that might be a tough one. So it's a toss-up really between Dom Taylor and Mike Warburton.
There we go. Duzzer has spoken.
59. Jeremy Roy, 52.
They're back in action in Group C tomorrow. Choices here for Jeremy. Well, that wasn't one of them. He was going for the 12. A 3. Okay, 11. So he's changed his mind completely
20.
there in the middle of that visit. That's interesting.
Does require
I can only think that he was worried about hitting the treble 20, so he's decided on 52 he doesn't go that way. But I tell you what, this would hurt.
120.
Maybe he got a little bit of a rush of blood there. The dart didn't angle the same way as the others. He seemed to throw it pretty fast.
Yeah, spot on.
That could actually be more open than it looks.
On the third leg, Jeremy
Fag has found the double and finds himself in front.
I think what we didn't see there, I think he just moved across the hockey to open
Fourth
that bed
leg
up.
Chaz to throw first. Game on.
In a leg, he really dominated there, but he wants to get over the winning line. Jeremy Fag has consistently put himself in winning positions this week and hasn't always executed and sprinted through that line. And like I said, one of these two players will be on 0 points after the 2 games, and then you're looking up. Then it's getting tougher and tougher.
60.
Well, there we see how Chaz Barstow's darts land in the board. Nice and straight, standing up to attention slightly. About the perfect angle of entry.
Absolutely spot on. I think if I was going to answer that question, I might have used the same words. And I've liked at times. Can you just see that dart did not go in?
96.
The second dart there just lacked a bit of oomph compared to that last dart. But there's the flick of the wrist of Chaz Barstow. And the difference I've seen between now and when he was at his best, it could just be a little smoother.
Well, he won't leave a finish, even if he does fill this up. And Chaz Barstow, having had a dart for the 164 in the previous leg, might get a go at the ball for the 170.
We've been spoilt with great darts tonight already. I had a feeling it was going to be a tough group. And this treble 19 there's a lovely setup. Looking very much like 2-2. Dare I say, when it gets to the 3-3s, Jeremy, that's when Jeremy can be a little bit susceptible to lacking and going low on some of his darts as well. It'll be really interesting because he has bounced back well this week, always losing in his opening games.
Game shot of the fourth leg.
I can assure Jeremy that Chaz Barstow's a different proposition to maybe some of the other players this week, and he's just maybe just playing himself into the
fifth leg,
a little bit of form.
First. Game on.
In fact, finds himself embroiled in battles quite a lot. Even when he's playing really well, players seem to lift it against him. Now, Glenn, you were talking about Chaz Barstow's little flick of the wrist when he throws his darts. I think we'll take a closer look at that the next time he throws.
Yeah, watch his head go back as he brings the dart back. That's not common with a lot of dart players, but it's in sync with how he throws every single dart, and that's important. Replication is key. And look how upright that is. I'm looking at the nose there, and it's just moving forward. I would like to see it virtually walked on that last dart there, if we can catch it again. So if I was talking with Chaz, I'd maybe just get that body still. Musical statues with the body and just the mechanics of the arm going. But I just see a little bit more body movement than what I'm used to seeing with Chaz. But certainly on that last dart, he was virtually walking forward. So we'll have a little look at that side on throughout the night.
Well, there's some more Does tips. Free of charge as well from Glenn Durrant. Unless you want to donate. Glenn Durrant at PayPal, is it something like that?
You're in a good mood. Something happened tonight.
Be in a good mood if I see a big fish finish. Not to be. 2 treble 20s and the bullet would have been. What about 2 treble 19s and the bull for Jeremy?
Jeremy O'Hara 164.
Yes, the preferred route of players. I like the 19 route in the sense that you can start incorporating the bullseye, but that's the perfect dart. That leaves 88, so it's treble 20 or treble 16. It's the 16 route that leaves 72.
111.
These are what's going to separate these 5. Just a little bit of moment of magic. Is this the magic right now?
91. Jeremy O'Hara 72.
Should be at least 1 dart at double, barring a drifter, which he has had before in this match. 16s, another. Only just in that. Tops. 52. I always think when the dart before it is a little bit dodgy, seem more likely to miss.
And seem to likely to go low as well, and he's practicing that dart now. These are big moments in this match. He won't like that because this is not nice. And that's the reason. There's the frustration as well. Because I can tell one thing I can say to Chaz. Jeremy won't miss this.
Well, he's made a right mess anyway, Chaz Barstow. He tried to bust and ended up on double 1. But if he does miss it, it might not matter anyway. He's got the same problem. Double 5. Is this going to come back and burn Chaz Barstow? Glenn Durrant was pointing at the screen alongside me, thumbs up, saying, this is definitely in. You liked that lie, didn't you? And so did he.
Just use that saying. Don't be too aggressive when you've got 2 darts at double 5.
Throw first.
And honestly, when you go big on that double 5 and go big on the double 1, the times it then drops in, and you can hear the commentator saying, so aggressive on that dart. Or actually, I was just laying up like a golfer. Because what you've got to take into consideration when you're 2-2 in a tight game is that your body does tighten up. You feel different. Your arm tightens up. And sometimes just give it a little bit of leeway. Let it fly a little.
Decent enough game. Chaz has definitely lifted his level
96
for this match compared to that beating at the hands of Robert Thornton earlier this evening. Every time you look at the scoreboard, he's on 200 and something after 6, or he's on a finish after 9.
He has ruined Madus's tips, though, very early in the night. So let's not be too glowing about him. He's making me look stupid. Yeah, 265. The 19s is the route because the permutation that 19 can often lead to a 170 finish, a 132. It just gives Jeremy a chance, and Jeremy will be in that mood of this is a free roll, this leg of darts. I've got the darts in the last leg.
40.
So anything, I can just relax my body, and didn't capitalise on that chance.
97.
A 1-2-2 when he comes back. Will Fag manage to get himself in similar territory? Needs a 140 to do so.
140.
And he gets it.
Chaz O'Hara 122.
It's all about the 18s. The bull.
97.
Line and length were very close. These are the Tyson moments. Just a free hit. The 1-2 one's a free hit. I've got the darts last leg. I'm just going to enjoy this treble 17 and smash the bullseye in.
86.
Quite to locate the smallest target on the board. Barstow with one last chance.
17.
And they were split by a long distance there for Barstow. 35. So this for Fag to pick up his first win and inflict a second defeat of the night on Barstow. Double 16 is his choice. Ooh, that looks a little bit tricky. But he hasn't moved too much.
3.
He fancied it.
Yeah, you could see the
Does
bed wide
require
enough there,
8.
but the pair of them are giving them opportunities, which is surprising. Double fours at that
In
right
trouble
height, that
six
right
leg,
level for someone like
Chaz
Chaz Barstow. And once again, as the previous match, we're going the full distance. And only one leg hasn't been played tonight. That's
7th
how
and final leg,
competitive this
Jeremy
group
to
is.
throw first.
Just that
Game
bit of
on.
magic. And maybe throwing first could be the difference here.
The story of, once again, decent scoring, but some dodgy doubling. We saw 13 darts missed
91.
by Rhys Robinson before he finally got over the line. And in this one, we've seen 10 missed by Jeremy Fagg. And he's in that position again where he
58.
was in the lead and has been pegged back.
That's the perfect lie.
140.
I thought the only outcome there was a maximum. But when you're 3-3 and you're getting a couple of trebles for a visit, it does now put the pressure on your
58.
opponent. And Barstow comes up dry.
Well, nowhere else he can go here. Glenn has to try and locate the treble 20. Although having said
60.
that, it doesn't matter, does it? Barstow can't leave a finish.
I was going to disagree with you in that point. I would have gone down for the 19s. Had Chad Barstow been on a finish, then of course you stay. Because even a 180 here, you've still got control. But that is a real sign of class from Chaz Barstow. Is he beginning to play himself into form?
Well, it's an
Big
interesting point.
moments.
Interesting point you make there, Glenn, because had he gone for an open target, he'd have a more chance of hitting a treble.
55.
It would have been just that little bit further down in the leg. Now he's only on 155 when Barstow could be on a 2-darter.
And look at this. Look at the turnaround here. Oh, that one will hurt. He's seen the little
81.
growl. I think he realised that's a missed
155.
opportunity. You've got to still make Jeremy Fagg just the favourite in this game. Well, Fagg lost a 4-3 in the first one. It'd be tough to bounce back.
59.
If he loses then,
Chaz
and once again, you now make
124.
Chaz Barstow favourite.
54. Would have left the ball. Fagg will get another go. This is his
56.
third 4-3.
Jeremy
in
requires
4 matches
96.
tonight. But to who?
96 is a 2-darter. Also on his mind is the potential of double-double. How does he feel about that lie? He felt good enough that he could go direct for the treble.
56.
These are the types of finishes. Since
Chaz
Monday
requires
morning when I sat
68.
in this seat, these are the types of finishes that you have to practice. A big 13 or a 17. The reason I bring the 17 in, that treble 5 might just be obscuring that double top. Doesn't move.
48.
Dips low.
Yeah, see the point there as well.
Jeremy require 40.
68. Most players will go treble 20, but I'm personally a fan of the 16s route. Keeps a lot out of the way. It
Game
goes the
shot.
way
And
of
the
Jeremy
match,
Fagg,
Jeremy
beating 4-3 in his first match, but wins 4-3 in his second, and it means that Chaz Barstow has been beaten in his first 2, despite the higher average in that one. Fagg started the game incredibly, 3 180s in the first couple of legs, but it levelled out. Barstow looked like he was going to take it, but Fagg finally got over the line, and he wins it, picking up his first points of the night. Coming next, Robert Thornton and Rhys Robinson looking to double their win tally for the evening.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where before the break, Jeremy Fagg got the better of Chaz Barstow in a last leg decider by 4 legs to 3. Well, we could have had a maximum of 28 legs so far tonight. We have played 27 of them. Right, next up for us, Reece Robinson takes on Robert Thornton. Let's have a look at Robinson's all-time stats in this competition, because he's won just under half the legs that he's played in. Checkout ratio 33%, ran about the par for the course. Running average of just under 85 as well, very impressive. And a high checkout of the fish itself. And of course, he won the checkout of the series in Series 3, Bull 18 Bull. He takes on the form, Robert Thornton. And watching this one in the commentary box, it is Glenn Durrant alongside Chris Murphy.
That's very kind of you, H, highlighting my name. Very, very pleased with that. But it's moments like this for Reece Robinson and Robert Thornton. Very early in Group B, but both can make a real move. Both on played 1-1-1, and in a group as tight as this, I can assure you that the winner of this group will be feeling that they can now go on and kick on, because if you can get 3 wins on day 1 of Group B, you know, you are looking good to be in that position there. So I think both will be really focused and really determined to win this game.
Yeah, particularly in a group where it doesn't look like there will be any kind of whipping boy, even though Chaz Barstow has lost his first couple of matches. He's been competitive in them, particularly the last one
41
against Jeremy Fagg, because, of course, can get that scenario where you get 4 players all getting the same amount of points in this group. And
100
can cause great problems. But Chaz Barstow, I think, I'm going to stick my neck on, and I think he'll win one of his last 2 matches this evening.
43.
Plays Sam Cankett next, and this man, Robert Thornton, also has Cankett to face, as well as Jeremy Fagg.
100.
Barstow faces this man in his other game tonight.
Yeah, 4-3, 4-2, 4-3, 4-3, as Henry alluded to there. Just tells you exactly how tight this group is. And, you know, poor old Chaz Barstow has been on the end of a 4-2 and a 4-3 game, but I just felt this guy in your picture, Robert Thornton, he would kick on from tonight. I thought it was good value. 3rd favourite out of 5 with the bookies surprised me, making Chaz Barstow a big favourite going into it.
57.
And the outsider of the lot was Reece Robinson, and I was really impressed with his first game. But it's Thornton who's come out the traps in this one. He's going to lay up after 15 darts.
41.
And Reece Robinson way back.
Yeah, one-way traffic in this opening leg. Reece Robinson has been very, very poor in it. It's not just down to Robert Thornton being good. This is only for a
40.
16 darter, and Robinson hasn't even crossed the halfway point.
Leg, Robert Thornton.
Really slow start from him.
Yeah, I thought Group C was always very difficult by playing on the morning. But the fact that that's an afternoon session with the time change of recently, you know, there was some really, really good darts today. And I wasn't so sure if Robert Thornton would have liked the Group B scenario or the Group C. You know, playing this time of the night would suit many of the dart players, but it's now getting to quite late. And like I said, it's been very competitive, but I still think we'll see the best of Thornton tonight.
100.
Yeah, he does enjoy his darts, Robert Thornton. It's been a big part of his life for many, many, many
59.
years. There's a little necklace with a dart on the end of it. You can see on his chest there.
Yeah, many dart players are
140.
one for gold, that's for sure. Obviously led the way by Bobby George, Martin Adams.
Yeah, you prefer a check yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's all, yeah.
100.
Show me the check 100. Reece Robinson played at the Trinity Club at Humberside. I've had some good battles in there, county-wise. His best mate, I remember playing a guy called Rolly Robinson, and only to find out was his uncle. And best mate as well, he was a very tidy player also.
121.
Well, he got away with that then, Reece Robinson. Got 60 points. Single 20, 40 fewer would have been 166.
34. Reece require 126.
Said it's 126, so 57 with one of these first 2 darts, and he gets a go at the bullseye.
101.
Name that finish this week to Jeremy Fagg with that 3 times. Bat 16 for his beloved tops.
77.
Going to rest assured that is as
Raise
big a
your
surprise
wire,
to me as it is to
25.
Robert Thornton.
Yeah, I think that's the worst dart I've ever seen him throw at tops. Double 12. Guide.
1.
Not used.
Robert require 39.
Double 16. He doesn't like this
Gazing
side of the
from
ball, but
second
today
leg,
he certainly
Robert
does.
Thornton.
And he talks to the dartboard. It's amazing what some of the dart players do when doubles go in, but he much prefers around that tops area. But his double 16, double 8 tonight.
Third leg, Robert
Very,
to
very
throw
nice.
first.
Well, judging the
Game
dart he
on.
threw at tops, do you think Robert Thornton, who's thrown at that target through habit and with great success for about
100.
117 years, do you think he might change his mind tonight and start leaving double 16?
I tell you what, Chris, one thing I say about dart players, we're very stubborn. And for someone to change a dart, and for a couple of reasons, if I change from double 16 to double top, I think it's a telltale to my opponent as well that I ain't feeling very good in certain areas of the board.
97.
So then the psychological thing starts happening. But I think the main answer to that one is we're so stubborn, we'll stick to a double that we're used to, and classed is our favourite double until it goes in.
100.
We expect to see Robert Thornton back on tops at the end of this leg. He's certainly on top in the match. 2 to the good.
100.
Yeah, I really fancied Dom Taylor in Group C today, and he's topping it. And I really fancied Robert Thornton. So as bad as Does' tips have been,
43.
actually players leading the group are the ones who I expected to be at the top. And I was really surprised with the Group A performance from Robert Thornton. He wasn't great in his first game.
100.
He just seems to be, he's one of them players, Chris, when he gets in front, whether it's a league table or a match, what we call in the trade a great front runner.
140. Robert require
Right then,
104.
64 and tops. Oh no, he's going 54. Well, now it's 10 and tops. He'll find a way to leave it in the end. We knew he would.
Game shot of the third
And he's
leg,
hit it,
Robert
puts it right.
Thornton.
Glenn's proved right. And all's well in the world of Robert Thornton.
Fourth leg, Reese to throw first.
Talking about
Game on.
stubborn darts players, it's not actually something that is sort of bred over the years, because just a couple of weeks ago, Luke Littley, we saw on a couple of occasions actually split 36.
81.
Yeah, I used to split 20, 4 double 8. Like I said, I go back
Yeah,
to...
but you were throwing at the double 10, weren't you?
No, that was... This is pre-2021.
Okay.
Yeah, but a couple of times. And people thought I was being disrespectful, but the hatred I had for double 10 and the love I had for double 8,
58.
there was a method in my madness. But yeah, it was a bit like Ronnie O'Sullivan going left-handed. I think some players sort of got upset with that. But so I can understand when Littler did split certain
100.
doubles.
Another player that is a big friend of us here at the Super Series actually can do that, can't he? Graham Usher can throw with both hands.
And he's just texted me. He's watching. He
Which
said-
hand did he text with?
81.
And he said he's... That's a good question. He said, this is better than the football last night. I said, I'm sat next to someone who's fairly jubilant with the football tonight.
26.
Robert Thornton will not be jubilant with that visit, but he's got a little bit of insurance here, hasn't he, with a 3-0 lead.
91.
What I like about Robert Thornton, he's very optimistic. Like I said, when I spoke to him of the seniors, he was in his car a lot. He just sit
100.
outside, and sometimes the hotel rooms can get a bit hot. So every time me and my wife were outside, he was sort of sat in his car, and he felt really confident about the week. He said, there's only one winner, and it's going to be me. And I really like players like Simon Whitlock was similar. Even when he was going through his bad patch, Chris, he would always put a positive slant on it. And I think that's a great
64.
attribute that Thornton
Raise
has.
your require 50.
Only learnt to drive in his 50s as well, Robert Thornton. Speaking of 50s,
Well, he is 117,
Game
so
shot of the fourth leg, Reese Robinson.
solid there from Robinson. Just a reminder to Robert Thornton, he's still here. We have seen someone come back from 3-0 down this week.
Fifth leg, Robert to throw first.
And it was Robert
Game
Thornton.
it was the first match, wasn't it, between himself and Jeremy Fagg on Monday. Jeremy Fagg's record of
134.
losing his first match started then, and it's continued into every single session.
58.
And you can't really call him a slow starter because he keeps getting 3-0 or 3-1 up. It's just for some reason a potential mental block in crossing the line in game one.
140. $140.
Nice leg from both players. It's Thornton who's took the real ascendancy right now. And you just feel one treble here. Look at the determination in that
57.
face. There's just something extra about him in this match. Just solid rather than spectacular, around about the 90 average mark.
171.
Once again, Robinson. I'm still here, Thornton. Oh, yes.
145.
Oh, so close.
Racer wire 100.
Well, he couldn't find the ball with his last start. Robinson will look to find it with his first. And now he's last, but he has to do the bit in the middle first, and that hasn't happened. So Robert
60.
Thornton will return. 17 double four.
25.
2 darts, a double four. As
Game,
Robert Thornton
shots,
gallops
and
the
a
victory
match
of the
for
very
Robert
impressive
Thornton.
Rhys Robinson. Is Robert Thornton just beginning to make his mark, certainly in Group B, and does he have his eye on Saturday night already? The tail of the tape tells you it was a very solid performance. Another 100 plus checkout this time for Robert Thornton. For Rhys Robinson, it's 1 out of 2. And after the break, it's the return of Sam Cankett against a much needed Chaz Barstow's desperate to get off the mark. Back after the short break.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we are halfway through our action for the evening session. Glenn Durrant, definitely Glenn Durrant, by the way, joins us up here on the balcony to assess what we have seen so far. We've already seen 5 games. These are the results from them. And, well, apart from that last game, we've pretty much seen every leg we could have.
Yeah, it's been a very tight. I mean, I think the highlights have been the fact that Robert Thornton's beginning to show some of his form. It was a disappointing Group A. And the fact that Chaz Barstow's played 2, lost 2, I guess will be a big surprise. He was the favourite going into the group. You feel the next game is a really big game for Chaz.
Thornton's won both of his games. What would be your assessment on his performances so far?
B+. I mean, it's nowhere near the game that he's at, where he's been. You know, I still think there's room to manoeuvre for someone like Robert Thornton. But I guess the thing with Group B is just getting through to Saturday night. 3 from 5. You feel like 2 out of 2. He's just cementing the foundations right now. Another win in his last 2 games, and he can go away a very happy man. It's such a tight group. These are 5 fantastic players. This is a real tough one to get through. And, you know, at this moment, it's still flick a coin and pick him. But Robert Thornton's out in front.
So let's have a look then at the table following the halfway stage of our fixtures for the evening. Robert Thornton, the only player with the perfect record. Chaz Barstow, the only player yet to get off the mark. The 3 players sandwiched in the middle, all on 2 points.
Yes, Sam Cankett started great against Jeremy Fagg, was a little bit disappointed in his next game. Jeremy is just always involved in classics at the moment, and 4-3 either way for him. And Reese has had 1 good, 1 bad. Like I said, it's a big game for Barstow coming up. I just feel he needs to get on the board, and he needs to start it now.
For those players in the middle of the table, they're looking at the last 2 games of the night, try and make an assault of it, and by doing so, you put yourself in a really good position going into tomorrow. Yeah,
like I said, lay the foundations for tomorrow and let the permutations look after themselves. But if Robert Thornton get a 4 out of 4, you feel like that's a job done already. Yeah. But right at this moment, like I said, it's so tight. A lot of games going 4-3. Just a bit of magic here and there can be the difference.
Right, so next up for us, it is Sam Cankett in action. He takes on Chaz Barstow. Joining Glenn in commentary for that one is Chris Murphy.
Thank you very much, Henry. Yes, important match, as Glenn highlighted there, particularly for Chaz Barstow, who knows if he loses this one, he will have the losing record for the night. But victory, and still possible, he could get away with 2 wins from 4. As for Sam Cankett, well, he's got that record now, a 50% strike rate. Actually, currently sitting joint second in the table, early days, of course, but he will know the quality of the 44-year-old from Winchester. And we started to see a bit more of it in the second outing of the evening for Barstow, when he played pretty well against Jeremy Fagg.
First leg, Sam to throw first. Game on.
Danny McNamara gets the action underway in this one.
58.
First of 5 remaining matches. Fagg to face Thornton. Barstow will be back against Rhys Robinson. He's having the kind of shorter evening.
84.
And then Robert Thornton, Sam Cankett, Rhys Robinson, Jeremy Fagg.
Can you turn into a darting geek?
140.
Turn into one.
I'm even fascinated when I go through the players area now, just to look at players' body language, how comfortable they are, what they're doing.
58.
Is it too late to become a darting geek?
Have you picked something up do you want to share with the
audience? A very quiet Jeremy Fagg sat on his own. Robert Thornton playing the alpha male role. And Rhys Robinson eating loads of chocolate.
I'll be back in a minute.
100. Samir War 123.
And I like that. I really like that. Purely the fact that Chaz Barstow's on 259. Sam Cankett's playing the averages.
43.
Just playing it safe. Didn't work naturally there, but 80 is still a big finish. A little scratch his head. He's thinking, maybe I'd have just gone direct for it, but
59.
Yeah, Chaz is just not in the game right at the moment. Stay straight. Sit on top. Give yourself a dart at tops.
Well, he's hit it, and he's used that flight very well there. But that's a difficult finish for Sam Kankit, the way his darts stand up. He
Second leg
could have
chance
done with one
to
of those
throw first.
Owen
Game
Bates
on.
flatties. Did you see that at Champions Week?
Absolutely. The flatty, and I think Daryl Gurney started something. That's just holding the point. That's just holding it so you
96.
understack the dart. You make a dart sit very flat. And my mind's going a little bit blank now. Who throws a dart like that today?
100.
Yeah, mine too. Bates, I know, threw one at Champions Week. Well, a couple actually. And one of them was for a 120 finish. Did you see that? Brilliant Shanghai finish
96.
using it.
Yeah, Scott Walters. So he holds very much the bottom of the barrel stroke on the point, and what he's effectively doing is understacking a dart,
100.
and with his flight and his stem balance, they just sit really flat.
Phil Taylor tried to utilise his throw to
96.
such perfection that he could understack or overstack.
Yeah, I think he went to a stage maybe where he was cutting flights down to. He believed in the submarine. That's how he wanted his
59.
dart to go. Did Phil Taylor, obviously being another geek, not only a darting geek but a number one fan of Phil Taylor.
58.
Bastow looking to bounce back from that early setback in this match. Has to find a break if he's going to win it.
94.
Yeah, the first two
Reservoir
darts weren't sitting
155.
nicely at all, and that transition to the treble 18 bed was perfect. 76 left, so he should go back to the treble 20 bed, but we'll just look how the lie is. And that, we think, was
99.
perfect.
Sam Reservoir 148.
This would be a big moment.
128 remaining. Difficult to get one there. Might go 42. Well, he was pretty close to it as well.
107. Reservoir 56.
Yeah, put some pressure, makes Chaz think.
Good guide.
36.
Fails to use it, but the last visit from Kankit did
Samuel
kind of make the point
41.
we were making, that his darts are long and stand up. They can block a lot of targets. This is a clear one. But is it now?
9.
Yeah, when you look at Luke Humphreys, who's
Reservoir
using this javelin as a
20.
flight now, various darts will have the strengths and weaknesses like many things. But yeah, sitting up, you just see the confidence is not there with Chaz right now. He needs a big win. Just needs something to get him going. If people are seeing Chaz Barstow for the first time, he's an exceptional player. The fact he was the favourite with the bookies for this very tough group is a testament to that. Just hasn't really gone his way right now, and
80.
but he's fighting. He's remaining professional. He's not throwing his arms about. He's staying focused.
Yeah, sometimes winning ugly
100
can be the springboard, can't it, to better performances. A win is a win is a win.
And Chaz Barstow's not a win ugly type of player. I mean, Chaz Barstow's regular
46.
105 to 110 average. He was doing some insane averages. It doesn't look like he's in that type of form right at this moment. And typically it's a 180.
190.
Does a lot with style, doesn't he? Panache. Chaz Barstow. But his big visits
95.
have been few and far between in this match. It's been one score over 100, one over 140, 180.
93.
Very aesthetically pleasing on the eye, very upright. And like I said, when he gets it right, he, like many of these flair players, that he can be very, very dangerous. Where Sam Kankit's very traditional.
88.
Each dart looks difficult for him to reach the desired target. As Barstow looks at double 14. Is he just beginning to take control of this match? Because that is a breaker throw. And that is a very big leg for Chaz Barstow.
Fourth leg Chaz to throw first.
And then suddenly we get that strut, that swagger, that little sort of visible showing of confidence to his opponent.
134.
Yeah, body language, demeanour is so important in this game. It's just letting your opponent know that you're beginning to feel good. If someone's moping around, part
60.
of you gives you the springboard. And to see Chaz bouncing about, I'm on the balcony chatting away with Henry then. You get the feeling that Chaz and Sam can hear what I'm saying. And I was pretty much saying, Chris, that it's virtually a must-win for Chaz, even as early as right now. He has to get his campaign started. And for me, he has to start it right now against Sam.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the presentation gallery here at the Super Series is just on the balcony, not far away from the stage at all. There's no sort of soundproof box or anything. Very easy for the players to pick up what might be said in conversation. I was actually amazed that Mike Warburton on Wednesday had no clue that he was through with a 4-3 defeat, because I did say it in the throw to you guys in comms.
I did enjoy that interview you had with Mike, I must admit. And the fact that you tried to dip your voice so you weren't talking out of turn, because some players don't want to know. But Sam Cank would love to know to get the root of 161.
Well, the second 180 for him.
60.
3 in this match. By the way, those 180s in this game have seen us pass the 300 mark for the series already. Barstow was looking for a double-double outshot there.
39. Sam, you require 101.
Will just be single-double now. And again, forced to choose double 16 because of the way his darts stand up, but no problem with it.
And Chaz Barstow will be thinking everything's going against him right now, because, I mean, 101 is a
game on.
A 60-40 chance of not hitting it. You know, it's a routine that many players practice, semi-pros, professional players, but
140.
He was sat on 56 there when Sam's pinged her in. That's when panic can set in. And the fact that Sam started with a 140, but credit to Chaz Barstow. That's a wonderful response. Sam Cank is just beginning to step on the gas himself. And if we put ourselves in the Sam Cank, he played 3-1-2 would sound a very nice start.
100.
Every single game is so important. And all of a sudden, Canker is just beginning to put the afterburners on. A treble here would be nice.
100.
A treble he gets.
It could turn into a very, very interesting group. Robert Thornton has won both of his matches, but he plays Jeremy Fagg next. If he wins that, he goes level with
60.
Thornton. If Barstow wins this, he's in the race.
21.
Could end up with everyone pretty much inseparable at the end of the first night.
Yeah, we've seen that with the Group B before. That's the first straight dart in this leg.
41.
Just gives a glimmer of hope, and you've seen that with Chaz there. He sort of got himself really up for this. I think he once and he required a 2-treble visit there.
41.
And Sam Canker's got away with it. He's already checked out an 80 in this match. Once again, he'll sit above it. That's not ideal, as Chris alluded to, so it means he has to move. He's probably looking at the right-hand side
60.
of the bed. But how many times tonight have we seen doubles go low? This would be a big, big statement to make.
Can't make it. So Cankit will
100.
return, looking to wrestle the lead in this match. 2 10s. Oh, 2 10s maybe. 2 5s needed.
10. Chaz, you require 60.
I said in the previous leg, Chaz will feel everything is going against him right now after that 101 finish. He did not expect a chance. So when you do, when opportunity knocks, you have to execute. And Chaz Barstow is back in the running. That's a breaker throw. He leads 3-2. He has the darts for his first 2 points of Group B.
Well, I've seen him time and time again tonight. Have great markers on double top and miss it. And then there he is, blocks it a bit, has to shuffle across, straight in, no problem. Sometimes, though, I've heard players say that moving just focuses the mind a little bit more.
Yeah, sometimes you can just see the bed a little bit more, because when you don't see it, you're using the other darts as a guide. And I've sort of tried to use it where it's like a horse jumping over a fence. You're just trying to jump over that fence there. But if you move over, you begin to see the bed. And sometimes whatever you do, you think, I should have done this, I should have done that. It's amazing what you're thinking when you're up there. And some of the greats are the people who can just adapt very quickly.
And he has hit it. And he has won it. Chaz Barstow sees off Sam Cankit and picks up his first win of opening evening of Group B. A good display in the end, 90.66, a very respectable average. 4 out of 9 on the doubles did the damage against Cankit, who took out a 101, but it was Barstow who picked up the points with a 4-2 success. Coming next, though, it is the unbeaten Robert Thornton against Jeremy Fagg.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where before the break, Chaz Barstow got the better of Sam Kankit by 4 legs to 2. That secured his first victory of the night. Next up for us, it is a battle of Scotland and Australia, as Jeremy Fagg takes on Robert Thornton. Watching this one, Chris and Glenn.
Yeah, thank you so much, Henry. Yeah, Scotland versus Australia. Not the first time they've played. Also played in Group A this week, so they'll know their strengths and weaknesses, but I just have a funny feeling the deciding factor in this match is just a little bit of difference in Robert Thornton tonight. And he'll have his eye on 3 out of 3 and 1 foot into Saturday night. For Jeremy, it's been a good week, a satisfying week. I think he's demonstrated his qualities, I think his supporters feel there's another gear, which he's probably hoping for Saturday night
Jeremy to
be used.
First.
But this is, again,
Game
every
on.
single match we're seeing tonight has very important in the league. It was good for the league table that Chaz Barstow got that one, certainly for the neutral, because it really mixes everyone together there. So Robert Thornton, more than ever now, a big win here, and he begins to separate himself from that chasing pack.
Well, in professional
60.
darts, Glenn, as you know, I spend all evening before the match gets underway, the first match, doing really deep research, and I can tell you that in professional darts, Scotland against Australia has happened 412 times. Scotland currently leading that head-to-head, 214 to 197, with a draw in there as well.
46.
That's the perfect dart for Jeremy.
You don't like that stat, Glenn?
I did. I was well impressed. I thought you were
140.
watching a penalty shoot. I just shows you how much I know.
There's been some great players from both nations
140.
over the years.
Jeremy Maguire,
Robert Thornton has to be up there as one of the greatest Scots, but his inspirations remain the likes of Jockey Wilson, more recently Gary Anderson.
Who has the biggest legacy, do you think, Wilson or Anderson?
40.
It's a big question, isn't it? I think when Anderson retires, it'll be easier to judge.
59.
And Peter Wright has to be put in the mix as well.
84.
Also a 2-time world champion.
Double 6. It's been kind to the players tonight.
Game shot on the first
That
leg.
trend continues right in the centre of the board, so it's a good opportunity to get your weight balance right. With that dart at double 11, double 6.
Second leg, Robert.
A real practice start for a lot of players.
Game
Bullseye, double 11, double 6. So you master that centre of the board, and there's just something nice when that goes in for Thornton. That's soon forgotten. With another max have been really spoiled tonight for an incredible amount of 180s.
$140.
17 180s already tonight, and we're only on now game 7 when you think 22 180s hit in the whole
60.
of Group A on Monday. It's a little indication there of quality of this group.
Another bit of research I did, Glenn, I was non-stop before it started this evening. Robert Thornton himself has played 48 matches against Australian players. Now that's before this week, so that I've seen him pass the 50 mark with his meetings against Jeremy Fagg. He's won 33 of those meetings.
91.
Although reading down the list, most of them were against our commentary colleague Paul Nicholson.
Well, that's not hard, surely.
Yeah, and I don't know if he needs to be deleted off the list now because he's no longer Australian, is he, Paul?
57. Robert Jaguar, 170. $60.
Yeah, one of the questions I get asked when you go to exhibitions, if you're on 204 or 110, who's the favourite?
100. Robert
Darts,
Jaguar,
the players are so
110.
good from 204 now, you're sort of confident they're going to do it in 6 darts. And Robert Thornton's made a bit of a mess of that.
42. Jeremy require 100.
Won't be happy with that. Jeremy has a couple of options here on 104. He's got with the 16s route. He'll stay there. The double top.
84. Robert Require 68.
Few players are going short on that tops tonight. For tops,
48.
once again,
Jeremy Require
it
20.
goes short.
So that double 10 to double his lead. He won't mind that. But he minds it. He gets out of the way of it. He needs to get near it. That's what he's done that time. 2-0.
You can see the frustration in Robert Thornton as he trudges back to the water table. I think when he's seen the first dart, he probably thought the next dart would go in. It was so far away, the second dart. And a win here for Fag, and then once again, it condenses
60.
this Group B. Already at the beginning, we knew how competitive it was going to be. But there was a slight indication there that Thornton was beginning to run away.
But it can be tough, can't it? Playing in Group A, getting close. We saw Lee Cox do that both the last 2 times he's been here. In fact, he got close in Group B the next time, but he really did struggle last week. And he'll be the first to admit
57.
that. It kind of just started to play on his mind. So, Jeremy, just trying to sort of weather that potential darting fatigue that can come with playing every single day.
I just think he's excited to be here, and I think that's the big difference there. I think I don't see any fatigue issues. I just think he's loving every second, and why not? He's come a long way.
34.
You know, he's done other things while he's been here as well. He's even played a local tournament and beat Simon Whitlock in that. So I just think he's loving every second. And yes, he was unlucky in Group A. I thought he took it really well, very magnanimous. And I think he's here to do a job, and a big win here over Thornton would put him in a prime position.
But no sign of Fag being burnt out.
Boom.
59.
Robert Thornton, we did see him have his real worst performance of the week in the very last game yesterday. So again, just trying to manage the Scotsman's stamina. People might laugh when we talk about things like stamina and fatigue in darts, but mental concentration is massive, isn't it?
It's huge. Yeah, I was going to say it's not the physical aspect, and the fact there's only 4 games tonight's another good thing. But it's bullseye for Thornton. You feel he needs this.
47.
Well, there are options here for Fag. Does he start on the bull himself, or does he go the sort of modern aggressive route, treble 19? There's the answer. Bullseye first, and he finds it. So, top of the shop.
55.
But he's over the top.
Yeah, he over-pitched it there because
39.
he's been dipping low. Just can't get that balance with that one dart.
Here he comes again on this double 16. Well, he can't miss it, Robert Thornton.
Stop being stubborn.
Well, where has that been all his career? Who knows?
Yeah, it's not often you see people patting their heads in this venue because it can get a bit cold in the old live lounge, but the conditions this week have been absolutely perfect with the good weather outside, and it's really good. I had a little go on the stage earlier myself, and it was
81.
perfect. Like the sweetest big 20.
Yeah, it can have an effect. We've not had our first proper summer here yet, so interesting to see if the heat does start to affect a few of the players as we get into the warmer months. Have you played in sort of, I mean, you've played the match play. It's a oven in there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for a fat lad, I didn't sweat. That was one of the strengths I had, where it was the hotter the better. Where I struggled,
99.
Was anywhere where you're blown on your fingers. So the match play, believe it or not, Chris, the coolest part of that building is on stage. The practice room upstairs was like a furnace.
180.
Maximum hitting here from Jeremy Fag.
But the hottest venue I ever played in was Prague.
140.
I remember it. I was there.
Jamie Hughes.
Yeah, Jamie Hughes won the tournament.
Stephen Bunton.
Geraint Price hit a 9-darter against you, didn't he?
Well, there was no need for that, but yes.
What, for him hitting it or me saying it?
57.
Bit of both.
Of course, the Iceman did well in those conditions. Thornton doing well here.
127.
Treble 7's getting used so much now. With 61 left. Started off with James Wade, and Robert Thornton's taken over that. We've seen him hit this treble 19 on the 164. This time he gets 2 in. This is a big moment in this match.
116.
Yeah, really big.
Robert
The bull
Require,
missed.
54.
And now this tenacious terrier snapping at his heels. Tops. Of course,
Shot of the fourth
2-2.
Robert Thornton.
Yeah, the facial side, the concentration levels. When he looked at Tops, he just sort of aims up. He's
Fifth leg, Jeremy
one of the
to
smaller
throw
players,
first.
Robert. You could
Game
just
on.
sort of see the trajectory of his arm just change as he went from that 14 to the 20. And I really fancied that to go in, but no panic set in for Jeremy. This is really good response. Oh,
60.
dear me.
Well, that is incredible. Couple of them on the floor, and Robert Thornton now will want to rub salt into the wound. Remember, we talked about the superior Scotsman. It happened to Gary Anderson in a world
95.
final, didn't it? Not just 2, all 3 came out.
Yeah, it happened to me in a UK Open, my first appearance on TV against Terry Jenkins. And I thought to myself, my first 180, my thoughts were, I'm going to get Russ Bray to hit, shout a 180. And all 3 fell out.
Right, switch. Oh, there we go.
190.
We're on a 9.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
59.
He's got 60 points with his first throw with 1 dart, and then 180 points with his second throw with 3 darts.
I wonder whatever happened to them Gary Anderson darts.
I heard that, do you know
97.
the MC at the World Seniors, the tungsten time chap?
Oh, he's always scrounging for darts.
Yeah.
He's running on stage and grabbing people's darts. before you-
Polestar, I think. He's got them on eBay or
100.
something like
Jeremy
that.
Require, 164.
alongside his T-shirts.
Well, he had a go at this in the previous leg. Oh, it's out again. Right, now he needs to start thinking about sharpening them, I think, because it's only happening to him, isn't it?
You won't find your dart, Jeremy. Polestar's been on the stage already.
114.
You haven't got a chat, you won't find it.
Well, it'd be a bit of good fun if he went straight for the bullseye. I don't think he will, out of respect here.
140.
Yeah, a lot of players will carry a little bit of
Jeremy
sandpaper
Require,
just to
50.
roughen up that point a little bit, but because it's on your mind. You're waiting for the bounce out. He's very safely and only just going in there. So there's the reset. And you have to say fair play if this double 10 goes in because he's had some trials and tribulations in there.
Jeremy
And what is the obligatory fist pump?
So 15 darter with 3 darts on the floor. Got to give him a 12, haven't
Six
we?
leg Robert to throw first. Game on.
Sure, that crocodile's looking more menacing as well on the back of that shirt.
Yeah, well, he would have been forgiven for snapping there, Jeremy Fagg, the way his darts were
140.
being discarded like they weren't welcome in the board.
Set myself up for that and you stole my line.
57.
Look at the eyes there. That's telling me that Robert Thornton's in the mood. Yeah, look at that. A little grimace.
180.
That's what you should do. Controlled aggression.
Yeah, Thornton will not roll over.
60.
We know that. Jeremy knows that. And Robert Thornton has built a career out of being a fierce fighter. Treble 7.
127.
It's a really tidy game. Robert Thornton averaging over 96 and Jeremy over 90.
Look at the response from Robert.
140. Robert
Had no
Require, 54.
spectacular averages today, but every game's been full of quality. This for 3-3.
34.
There have been a couple of matches where the averages have threatened to be spectacular. Jeremy Fagg himself was averaging, I think, 136 after a couple of legs earlier on this evening.
Yeah, Henry Deacon said there'll be 110 average
58.
tonight, and
Robert
I think it'll be
Require,
tomorrow
20.
night. I think they're just eyeing each other up at the moment. And Robert Thornton's eyeing this double 10.
Had
No panic yet.
109, didn't we, from Mark Barilli this
No score.
afternoon.
What a performance. I was pleased for Mark today.
Group C resuming 1 p.m. tomorrow, live exclusively on the MODUS Super Series YouTube channel for the first 6 matches, and then 3 p.m. you can watch us on Sporty
90.
Stuff TV, the conclusion of that
Robert
group.
Require, 20.
Robert Thornton here, back at double
Game
10.
shot on the
Took
six
his time
leg,
getting over the
Robert
line,
Thornton.
but he does force a decider. And, well, Jeremy Fagg has been used to those tonight.
7th and final leg, Jeremy to throw first.
You would think
Game
after
on.
the 2-4-3s, he's burnt out. That's quality, that. Timing. The timing in dart is so important.
140.
Panic hasn't set in. And already 12 darts before with Robert well ahead in that last leg. He was planning his assault for the last one.
140.
When you're up against the tenacious, the growling Robert Thornton.
Fagg has got a bit of the Thornton demeanour about him, hasn't he? We saw him hit a 140 and look annoyed that the last dart didn't join the other two.
90.
Big dart. That treble, every treble in the last leg decider just feels doubly important.
There's a level of focus here from Thornton that has to be admired.
91.
They've both been boxing clever in this leg. Thornton now only needs a ton to leave a finish. Now, if he hits the treble 19, he'll go for the bullseye.
101.
Excellent board management. A steady ton, Robert will be thinking, but with that first dart, surely it's a max. Timing.
190.
Maximum
Jeremy
score
170.
to force Fagg into the maximum finish. Not going to get it. Now, Robert Thornton would love to go for tops. I just wonder if the first dart's at the ball rather than the last one.
56.
Possibly now.
Robert require
He's
90.
looking at the 1-1-4, and sometimes you'll make a decision, but I think he's playing safe out of respect for Jeremy. It's treble 15. What a mess. Reset, because 1-1-4 is not a gimme. 75 left, so we're looking at the 17 bed.
18.
That is a disaster.
Jeremy
Music
require
to Jeremy's ears.
114.
Everything went wrong for Robert. And now, Jeremy gets a go. Choosing that route.
96.
You could see it's flick the flight there as well. And I think that's a sign of lack of
72.
confidence. Often players go that route because they think they might drop into the 4 and get a dart at the bullseye.
That was a really strange one. It's going to be one dart at tops. This is what it's all about. Match play at its finest.
32.
Just falls short. Jeremy Fagg has been involved in some crackers today.
18.
If you'd have asked him when he was walking on that stage, you're going to get 3 darts to win the match, he said, yes, please. Over to you, Jeremy Fagg.
Well, this is getting tricky. It's getting itchy. Asked him if he could have 3 darts to win the match. He might have said yes, please, but he might have said I fancy double
Robert
16, not double 9.
40.
Did you see Robert Thornton behind? I'm surprised he hasn't threw these darts already. He bounced with joy as that big 9 went in, and he's using all the experience in the world, getting his breathing right for his favourite double.
Game, shot,
Smack
and
bang
a
in the
match,
middle.
Robert Thornton.
Seesaw up and down. What a game of darts. You can see the incredible disappointment in the face of Jeremy Fagg, but Robert Thornton is making his move. 3 wins out of 3, top of the table. You feel like he's laying the foundations for Jeremy Fagg. A lot to think about, a lot of disappointment there, but big, big moments for the Scot. And next up, it's Chaz Barstow against Reece Robinson.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where before the break, Robert Thornton made it a hat-trick of victories by getting the better of Jeremy Fagg by 4 legs to 3. Right, next up for us, Ches Barstow up against Rhys Robinson, watched by Glenn and Chris.
Yeah, thank you so much, Henry. Rhys Robinson in your picture there started off very nicely today. A big win over Sam Cankett. And then he probably went back really disappointed after his performance. So a real up and downs. So it'll be a real indicator of where his game's at. For Ches Barstow, there was part of him thinking he was really out of this Group B, but it was a big, big win in the end. And now he could be looking at 4 points and beginning to show his skills and ready to come back tomorrow to fight all the way. They're all tough ones to pick tonight, Chris.
Yep. Really is difficult. Robert Thornton winning all of his matches is some achievement in this group, really, the way that it's gone. Because all of them have been sort of battle royales tonight. He did have that 4-1 win against Robinson himself, the biggest margin of victory we've seen this evening. But 4-3 has been the most common result.
Yeah, I mean, Ches Barstow, this is his final game of the night.
60.
He just wants to get up there, get his win, 4 points, and think, well, I wasn't at my best, but, you know, I can still get through this group. For Rhys Robinson, he's now got 2 matches in 3. And he's thinking, really, my campaign starts now. I've got a couple of points on the board, but the big indicator will be in about an hour's time.
I'm just looking at it because everybody has got a couple of points on the board. Robert Thornton could effectively now be just a couple of wins away from qualification. The last one tonight and the first one tomorrow.
And you want Robert Thornton there. I shouldn't have any bias here in the comms box, but a Saturday night with the likes of a Robert Thornton, a John Henderson, you know, them guys, there's just Martin Adams, it just makes the night just a little bit more special. And I had my concerns part in the group there. I didn't think he looked him total self, and he hasn't been at his brilliant best tonight, but just seems to be doing enough to get over the line and be well chuffed to beat Jeremy Fagg, who looked really deflated with that loss. Yeah,
if you do want to be here yourself, tickets are available, free of charge, just a very small booking fee, a couple of quid. At dartshop.tv. Come and join this unique atmosphere that we have at the Super Series, and you could be up close and personal with, let's face it, a real great of the game. Glenn Durrant's waiting for me to say him, but I did mean Robert Thornton.
Oh, right.
121. Chaz requires 68.
So 68 for Barstow to land the first leg. Well, he's misfired, so it's going to have to be 13 and the bullseye.
43.
And the fact he's so close to the bullseye is no consolation. He'd be fuming that he missed the big 20 at the beginning of that. Exactly the same for that. And to not have a dart or a double from 76 is criminal.
Yeah, Rhys would have been thinking sugar
25.
after that one. And Barstow goes his way here, double 10. Now, the problem with going this route is you can end up blocking the double 5 should you end up there. Maybe that happened.
39.
He's not himself, is he, Chaz? You have to capitalise, Rhys.
Game shot on the first
leg.
Just
kissed off the tungsten of that second dart, and you could argue just a little bit of luck on his side, because when you're bumping into the barrel of a tungsten dart, it can go absolutely anywhere. And
game on.
You try to grab every positive from every scenario, and that's really what Rhys should be looking at. Rhys can put himself in a very nice position with a win here, with 1 game to go as well.
100.
Yeah, I've got a busy day on Saturday, Chris. I'm off to the Southampton Darts Academy. Hopefully they're not listening, because it's a surprise.
Who's teaching you?
Oof. I'm like Matt Edgar every day, yo.
He'd be offering your coaching tips, I assume. And then here to call in the action.
93.
Finals night, maybe sign a few autographs on your way in and pose for selfies.
In fact, I won't even charge my usual 20 quid for me autograph. I'll do $19.99 on Saturday night, so get yourself down here. I've had the photos about 15 years now.
Who else will be there? Robert Thornton is looking like he's taking steps towards it. Mike Warburton already there in Group C. this afternoon. Dom Taylor made the march, but really
140.
there is
140.
no certainty for anyone from that group.
Again, the setup play from the mid-hundreds has been
44.
disappointing.
Reese require
The chance, and that gives
130.
Reese an opportunity on 130. Only the one treble needed.
90. Chazzy require 96.
I think I expected better from both players. Probably look at double-double the way that's lying there. Very safe
74.
option there. Advantage to Robinson.
Reese
It was
require
a bit of a
40.
mad second dart, wasn't it? I think it's a sign that he thinks Reese will hit this. Sort of threw it in the area of the 18. It ended up hitting the double, has left him on double 11. Reese does hit in the end, so it doesn't really matter. But got to take more care sometimes. We saw him earlier on today as well. Try and bust and end up leaving double one instead.
Third leg Chaz to throw
just not
first.
himself.
Game on.
His game's not where I'm sure it wants to be. He might correct me tomorrow and say, actually, Glenn, I'm playing as good as ever, but he hasn't demonstrated his skills. And Chaz Barstow is a real top-notch player. The bookies before in this mega tough group made him the favourite, which just
60.
is a clear indication how good he is. And only he knows how his form is. Talking to him, he said he's been doing a house renovation. Like I say, he's got a few other issues as well.
100.
But, yeah, the skills are never there. It depends how much you practice him, because he hasn't got a board up at the house at the moment, he said. So maybe the only practice he's getting was a bit of local league.
190.
For Reese Robinson, who had a staggering 6 180s in an early game against Sam Cankett.
Yeah, don't be under any illusions based on what you've witnessed from
140.
Chaz Barstow tonight. He really is one of the top quality performers at the Super Series. We've seen him in PDC darts and on the
81.
Challenge Tour
Chaz
average
require 138.
over 107, and on the Pro Tour average over 106. To mix it with the best of them.
98.
Yeah, he had that beautiful year where he was getting a bit of everything, a bit of MODUS Super Series, Challenge Tour, and he was on virtually every single Pro Tour as well.
45. Chaz require 40.
Half the deficit in this match, then. It is, of course, his last outing of the evening.
Shot of the third leg.
He will be determined if he gets out tonight without playing at his brilliant best with a 50% strike rate. That'll be a good evening's work, won't it?
I think he would take that right now, that's for sure. I think that was the plan as he walked up against Reese. I think he'll have felt confident against Reese Robinson. He's had one good game, one bad game.
100.
Not really sure what you're going to get with Reese Robinson. He's always had that. He's got the skills, got the talent. Maybe questioned his mentality
99.
sometimes. But uber talented.
To be honest, it was only really
60.
that first game where Barstow was properly below par. We're only judging him by his high standards that he's produced here. But he had a 90 average in one of his games. He's been around the mid-80s in the rest of them. That 180 takes him over the 92 mark in this match. So maybe because we're just used to him doing that non-stop, we've been a little bit harsh with our analysis.
It's only me that's been harsh, and don't get me wrong. I want him here Saturday night. He's another local player as well, and he'll create a great atmosphere. And this has just gone absolutely bonkers.
3
180s in a row. That will come to an end here. But it could have ended with a 161. Instead, Barstow will look at 42.
$121.
Fantastic leg of darts.
42.
Boring does it. Does like a 2-dart combo.
22.
There's the wry smile.
40.
The frustration. You don't feel like Robinson will miss this, because that's a beautiful marker for tops. Can it get any closer?
20.
Danger ahead. Too many misses, Robinson.
20.
Can Barstow make him pay? D5.
Game shot
And
of
he
the
bursts the battleship.
Barstow.
Well, we do have a battle now. 2-2.
Fifth leg, Chaz.
Just sitting there looking at his
Rovers.
fingertips and everything,
Game on.
still, despite starting to put on a show, maybe not feeling comfortable.
Yeah, I think he just put a bit of chalk or something on his fingers then, which is absolute
140.
no for me.
And there we see how he has raised his game. Well, they both have, to be fair. 180s are flying in.
190.
5 in the match now, 3 for Robinson.
9 180s in 3 games for Robinson tonight.
24.
Clearly his game's there.
Well, we saw the back-to-back 180s earlier, didn't we? 10 dart leg. It's actually been a really good group so far.
43.
Standard has been great. I'd like to see the overall average at the end of the evening because I think it's going to be around that 90 mark.
I think Chaz Barstow heard my commentary and said,
190.
shut up, Durant.
We saw Mark Barilli prove you wrong and take great glee out of that. Is Chaz Barstow doing something similar?
125.
And that's something I
Chaz
really like. I know a lot of the
157.
players do listen back to the commentary. And I will give as much credit to any player in the world. But I'll also
60.
offer
Raise your
any
bar,
criticisms
153.
constructive. If I can see something, what I'm, and like you said, he's got a benchmark is so high.
Do they listen back?
99.
Yes.
Fair few?
Chaz
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're all brilliant, to be honest. I think they're absolutely fantastic. What a fine finish this is. Double 10.
87.
Doesn't make it.
I think he's hit that place
Raise
in
your
double
bar,
10 so much.
54.
His frustration was evident. Just been a case of missed opportunities with these two guys. The scoring's been phenomenal. Just when we start to think
Reese
that
Robinson.
Chaz Barstow's taking control, Reece Robinson, and you might have heard the shout of "Come on!" I think he understands and realises the importance of this game.
Rovers.
He's got another game to come
Game
as
on.
well, Reece, and Reece can walk away with 6 points and a very heavy start to the day.
Yeah, we said it had become a proper fight, and that reaction from Reece
140.
just highlights that.
And it's not being disrespectful. That's Reece Robinson all over. I mean, he's a character. He's
96.
But he's still got the chance himself to get to 6 points tonight.
so many twists and turns, Group B. more to come, you feel.
123.
Yeah, Thornton versus Kankit follows this, and then Robinson returns for the last match of the night against Jeremy Fagg.
81.
And don't forget, if you want to watch the conclusion of this group, it will be the same time on Friday
100.
night, flight night at the MODUS Super Series. And it'll be the last 3 places up for grabs, although Robert Thornton might get at least one hand on one of them if he wins his next match.
60. Raise your bar, 138.
It's looking like Robinson, so it's looking like Barstow's going to end the day on 2 points, and that'll be immense disappointment.
58.
Yeah, he's had these little spells, hasn't he, tonight? But they've tended to last a couple of legs rather than a couple of matches.
Just been a couple of doubles here and there. It could have been so different in this element, in this part of the game.
140.
Been absolutely
Raise your bar,
fine.
80.
And for Robinson, you feel he's going to get a dart at tops.
Well, he's gone for tops. He wants another one. He got 2 darts at it by hitting it, and he's hit it again. And Reece Robinson puts on a show at the end to defeat Chaz Barstow and condemn Barstow to just 1 win tonight. So that will be a disappointment for him. But Reece Robinson happy, having doubled his points tally, and he still has a chance to make it 6. Robert Thornton is already on 6 and is looking to complete the perfect evening when he faces Sam Kankit next.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where before the break, Reece Robinson got the better of Chaz Barstow by 4 legs to 2. Right, couple more matches for us this evening. Robert Thornton are going to make it a perfect night to kickstart his Group P campaign. He takes on Sam Kankit, who's looking to crank it and make it a 2-2 night. Watching this one in the commentary box, it's Glenn and it is Chris.
Yeah, thank you so much, Henry. There you man in your picture, Robert Thornton, the world seniors champion. 3 out of 3 tonight, looking for the clean sweep against Sam Kankit, who opened the day very nicely. He's still in a good position, Sam. He can get himself to 4 points with a victory here. But for Thornton, you just feel like he's got the bit between his teeth right now, and it's a big ask for Sam. But these are the moments, these are why you get the invites to come to the MODUS Super Series, for moments like this, and you want to play your best darts. He's a Welsh international, and now's the time he needs to stand up and put his best performance of the night on.
Yeah, the pair of them locking horns in this group. Robert Thornton and Sam Kankit. Thornton has got this habit of making it through to finals nights at the Super Series, but they're not getting the win, and often it's the final itself where he's fallen.
60.
Yeah, I remember the incredible disappointment on his face against Matt Clark. He couldn't wait to get up the stage, and I think the frustration was a big crowd there that night as well.
140.
Horses for courses, sometimes you just know how to do it, how to get through. It's been a different route for him. Probably identified his route to getting through via Group A. He's looked very comfortable playing sort of later at night as well, and maybe suited him just a little bit better where he's got all day to prepare.
134.
If you're often 4 out of 4, he just snapped your hands off. Sam Kankit, he just needs a bit of aggression in him there. It just all seems a little lackadaisical for me.
Sammy requiring 93.
You see him grit his teeth right now and really dig in Nick Kenny style. And a 12.
Game shot of the first leg.
Absolutely sensational darts from Sam Kankit. That's what he's got in his makeup, and that's what he's got to continue to do in this match. It's a great start to break a throw.
Game on.
These 3 darts are key. You've done the hard work. Now hurt Robert. The perfect start for the Welshman.
99% sure. Just trying to flick through my
58.
My notes and stats. I'm 99% sure that they're in the same week in Series 3, this pair. So have got familiar with each other's games, although I think Kankit would have already been pretty familiar with the game of Robert Thornton, having watched him doing Robert Thornton things like that for many years.
80. $43.
It's the first little slip for Sam. Been great so far in this match. Maybe that 180 from Thornton was just a turning point for him. Kankit has to get back. He's got the darts here. There's nothing in the game.
A lot of 180s tonight. There's been 120 this week now.
94.
And the most being hit tonight in the least amount of games.
Yeah, remarkable.
94. Sammy require 124.
164, just the one treble, but that is not what he wanted.
Well, we know what Robert Thornton wants.
Robert require 110.
A 60. A 10. And a tops.
Game
easy as that for Robert Thornton. Easy when you know how. And he certainly has got the darting know-how. As he looks to complete a clean sweep, he immediately cancels out that early breaker throw.
Yeah, that's his highest finish of the night, just beating the 104 he had earlier against Reece Robinson.
140.
He is. Growls at that dartboard. I'd like to say that was Sam just a little bit. I like laid-back characters, don't get me wrong.
100.
It's interesting, Robert Thornton's demeanour. I started my evening by actually having a chat with Robert Thornton for an interview that's going to be
83.
shown later on this week, and he he's so sort of, he plays himself down in his career. He plays it down so much. When you see him on the hockey, you think that he thought he was the bee's knees and should beat everybody in submission every time. But I asked him outright, do you think you're one of the greats? He said, no, I'm just Robert Thornton.
123.
I think that sometimes you have the working class background of the guy, your values, the way you've been, you've been brought up.
40.
Humility is really important in a
155.
person, and maybe that's the way he sort of sees it, but maybe inside he's really proud of what he's done in his career. Sometimes just hard to tell someone
45.
It certainly should be proud. Going to come back and take out 110 again, exactly the same way as he took out in the previous leg. No doubt about that.
100.
Do you want to do it this time, or should I?
110.
Treble 20. Big 10. It's easy as 1, 2, 3 for double top.
Game shot of the third leg. Robert
Baboosh.
Thornton.
Nothing sweeter than a repeater for Robert Thornton, who takes out 110 in
Fourth leg,
consecutive
Sam to
legs.
throw first. Game on. $59.
I was so confident that 110 going in. It was like a Sheffield Wednesday penalty.
Yeah, never missed.
60.
Still heartbroken over last night as well. And then I've got to sit next to Chris, who's jubilant, but professional.
60.
Oh, it softens the blow, doesn't it, when you see darts like this from a player like him.
140.
Been a great night, hasn't it? When we looked at that Group B all week, when you put Jeremy and Robert in the mix with these guys, it was going to be something special.
85.
Looks like the headline act is just beginning to make his move, and I promise you there's still plenty of more in his game. And I think I'll be ready for Saturday night. It'd be no surprise to anybody if he's lifting that check then.
Despite his own sort of modesty, do players like him just have that bit of an aura in those practice
58.
rooms?
Yes, yeah, like I think you alluded to in the, Sam will have watched him over the years on TV, and you walk in the room. The only time I felt that aura was either a local event in Teesside when you sense when I walked in, people knew. But also, I remember when Phil Nixon walked in a room. I remember when
57.
when I first saw Phil Tiller,
61.
Michael Van Gogh, and it's something you've got to maximise as well. The double 4.
Game shot of the fourth leg.
Playing well.
Robert Thornton.
Yeah, the finishing.
Scoring big, and the finishing's great.
The average up to just a shade under 95.
Fifth leg,
Checkouts,
Robert
3 out of
to
5.
throw
2 of them,
first.
of course,
Game on.
110s. And he's now a leg away from making it an unbeaten night.
140.
Have you ever been starstruck, whether it's darts or...
I thought you were going to say, if I ever walked into a room and everyone was looking at me. Used to happen in a few pubs, but that's because I owed them all money.
58.
Starstruck. Well, I remember when I first started working in darts, and I was interviewing Raymond van Barneveld, actually, and just for a moment in the interview,
97.
I started thinking that I'm stood here interviewing Raymond van Barneveld, this person I've watched on TV all these years. Then quickly had to think, actually, what's your next question?
100.
Yeah, there's an art to being... I'm trying with interviews, but there's an art to really listen to the answers to the question to then create. Because you don't go in with a set amount of
58.
questions to Barney. Because all of a sudden one can then lead to another.
To be fair, I was lucky on that occasion it was Barney, because he can talk. He can give an answer that lasts a few minutes.
85.
So my mind was allowed to drift on that occasion. But yeah, and after a while, then you realise that everybody's just a human being like you.
140.
Well, sometimes when they throw the darts, you do start to wonder.
I like the Scotchman that needs 66. Reminds me of John Gwynn. Every time in Scotland,
66.
hit a 66. Can Thornton do it? The 4 wins out of 4. Surely it's with tops. He just can't miss it. It's a big 4-1 victory for Robert Thornton and a huge 8 points for this Group B. He's the leader. He's the headline act, and it's job done for Sam Cankett. Still plenty of work to be done. There's the tail of the tape, 96.04. Solid, solid, solid. 2 check out of 110. A very, very impressive Robert Thornton. As we move into the final game of the night, it's Rhys Robinson against Jeremy Fagg.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
And you may well be booking your tickets to see Robert Thornton on Saturday night, because that is 4 wins from 4, an impressive display, 2 110 outshots, 96 average to beat Sam Kankit 4-1 and to make it 8 points from his night. Right, the final game of the night is going to see Rhys Robinson in action. He takes on Jeremy Fagg. This is a position jostler. Watching this one, Glenn and Chris.
Yeah, thank you so much, Henry. Exactly that. Because if Jeremy Fagg loses this game, you've got to say it's big advantage to Robert Thornton and Rhys Robinson. Then it's 1 from 3 you're feeling from there. Jeremy Fagg can still do some real damage with a victory here over Rhys Robinson and put him on that 4 points and then 2 points ahead of Chaz Barstow and Sam. could be very, very important. I think he'll feel disappointed. He's been involved in every leg of darts he could possibly play tonight and
First leg
come on the
Reece
wrong side
to
of two
throw
of them.
first.
So big
Game on.
moments you feel for the Aussie. And Reece Robinson will be on a bit of a high after that big win. You saw the delight as he beat Chaz Barstow. Interesting
60.
way to finish off what's been a fabulous night of darts.
Yeah, great point from Henry as well, that Thornton has basically gone and done the job on night one, hasn't he? He's only going to need one win tomorrow now to secure a spot
57.
in the Saturday session. He's a dab hand at getting there, but we did start to ponder whether or not getting so close
97.
in Group A. One leg, remember, Jeremy Faggo finished above Robert Thornton in that group, don't forget. Might just start to take its toll. I don't think it will yet, but if he loses this match and he's going to feel like the chance is slipping away.
140.
Yeah, it'll be a tough one to go away with a 1-3 return, because he could have easily won all three of the games. He was right in the mix of the deciders.
128.
And you saw the real disappointment in his last defeat.
Yeah, just one of those nights. Again, losing his first match and the darts falling out.
Yes, I very sharpened them.
54.
But it's Robinson who's come out the traps just a little quicker. Looking good for this first leg, but a couple of trebles would be nice.
46.
Just gives a chance and barely taking his darts out as Jeremy's throwing the darts. That tells you how much he wants to get and dictate the pace on that Rocky.
140.
Big three darts.
Reservoir 170.
Jeremy hit the 170 earlier. Can Reece Robinson respond?
83. Jeremy require 110.
I think I've seen this before somewhere. 1-1-0.
A different route.
Double 18.
Game shot of the first leg.
It's the 1-1-0
Jeremy
show
Fagg.
at the moment. 2 from Robert Thornton and 1 from Jeremy Fagg.
You mentioned-
Fantastic darts.
You mentioned sharpening
Second leg, Jeremy
the points.
to
I'm just
throw
wondering if he might have
first.
changed them. I'm looking closely at the darts and thinking it seemed to be those points that you can just remove and stick back in. Might be mistaken, but they certainly look nice and shiny. Could be new points. No,
100.
the same points.
Yeah, so much technology in darts now, and there's, the points are so easy to change if that is the case.
57.
Just put a fresh set in.
I saw a documentary recently featuring Peter Wright, and he's got the old grinder in his man cave, and he's chipping a bit off to sharpen them. Simon Whitlock does something similar as well.
81.
Doesn't he use Allen keys for his points or
yeah.
something? Yeah. He's like the mad professor, isn't he?
He's used all sorts, yeah. And sometimes with great effect as well. A bit innovative.
140.
Look a little bit aggressive as well, the points that Reece Robinson's using.
Yeah, there's a lot of players. I think especially people who hold the point as well, is like even get grips on the points.
Steve West once gave me a set of darts that
140.
he actually uses them. And never mind the points. The barrels themselves, honestly, I thought I was going to take the skin off my fingers when I threw them.
43.
I mean, joking aside, Dimmy's first darts were very, very tough on the skin for him. So, darts are getting very, very grippy now. And, then you go back to the Terry Jenkins dart where there's just nothing on the barrel.
32.
That was interesting. And he's mentioned Dimitri van den Berg at the right time there, because he's a player who will do that sometimes. He was scared of busting his
42.
score, so he went for
Jeremy
the treble
require
12.
48.
Happy having 2 darts at double with Reece Robinson so far back. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Especially when Robinson's so far back. Proof will be in the pudding if this double 8 goes in.
Game
2-0
shot
to
of
the
second
Aussie.
leg,
This is
Jeremy
much,
Fagg.
much better. He doesn't want to go through the full 7 legs. And you can walk away with a very satisfied and happy man.
Third
He
leg
can get
Reece
4
to
points on the
throw
board today. It
first.
hasn't gone as well as they'd
Game on.
expected. And knowing the Aussie with the mentality that he has, he'll be thinking, I'm just a little bit gutted he didn't get the full 8 points. But once I say, I've used this term a couple of times, on laying the foundations on
140.
day 1 and then getting up there tomorrow and doing the business.
And if he does beat Reece Robinson, he will actually be sitting pretty on 4 points. He'll be above him in the table. Only 1 leg between him in leg difference
100.
before this match. But for Robinson, this could be a big game. There are good players in this group. If he gets away and has 3 wins under his belt. I mean, he's going to be looking very, very good to make it 4 points between him and the chasing pack.
Yeah, that'll have been the motivation as he walked on there. But this is a tough ask to beat this guy. And what would be interesting if Jeremy does win this one, the 2 guys that finish Group A in 2nd and 3rd will be going away tonight in 1st and 2nd position. We often have the discussion here at the MODUS Super Series about the option of being fresh coming into it, or people who've played the 3 days previously. So far, it's the fact that the guys who have played already this week doing the business.
Well, we questioned, didn't we? Stamina, Jeremy's fatigue. But we've seen in this match, the concentration is totally there. He's done some things with going for that treble 12, going for the treble 17 there to mean he just needed to stay straight in the next shot. He's thinking about things, which shows me that his concentration levels are exactly where they should be.
I've been super impressed, and he's just had a quick look at Robinson's score there, so I think see him go up for treble 20, for treble 17. The double 18s hit this once already.
Game
I think that's exactly the same spot he hit previously. It's 3-0 to Jeremy in record quick time. This is just what the doctor ordered.
4th leg, Jeremy to throw first. Game on.
Absolutely brilliant from the Australian. Have a look at those numbers. 27-point disparity in the average. There's a 3-leg gap in the scoreline. It's fantastic from Fag in the final match.
And I think it's going to eradicate the disappointment that was evident on his face in his 3rd game. You could see the shoulders dropped. It was a pretty whimsical
45.
handshake. And you could sense that disappointment. I think he walks away from here with a big 100 average, a 4-0 win, and he'd be really chipper going into tomorrow.
Yeah, there were 3 players on 2 points before this match.
140.
All in the gutter, but one of them was looking at the stars.
$80.
So can he finish with the only whitewash win of the night?
48.
Well, that won't help, and it might just offer Robinson a glimmer of hope.
$43.
Takes an incredible sporting entity to come back from a scoreline like 3-0. It's head in hands for Robinson, and you know,
100.
come tomorrow he could look back at this match, and if he doesn't play well on Friday night, just think, well, just wish I could have got the job done
140. Jeremy
on Thursday, which it seems what Robert Thornton has. Fag may be following. This is a great end to the night's play for him. And no guarantee that Reese could have done anything
60.
to stop him, but this is looking like his poorest performance as Fag has produced his best.
121. Jeremy
Can he start off in style, or will he open the door for Reese Robinson? Hand on the handle. And he slams it shut.
And the match, Jeremy Fag.
In some style, a big bang at the end of the evening for Jezza. Jeremy Fag, a 4-0 win, the only whitewash win of the night, and it's a win that sees him move on to 4 points along with Robinson, chasing Robert Thornton, the pair of them. But look at those numbers, 101.9, 4 out of 5 on the double. That's 80%, and a checkout of 110. We've seen that somewhere else before. Fag ends on a high. Over to Henry and Glenn to analyse the evening's action.
Thank you very much, Chris. Well, that was some performance, wasn't it?
Just a great night of darts, and save the best to last, and Jeremy can walk away now very, very happy. He's right in the mix.
I did tell you we'd get 110 tonight.
Very close. Yes, yeah, good point. Yeah, there was plenty of them, wasn't there? But just a really good group, very competitive. Just, Robert Thornton with a 44 being the headline, but Jeremy Fagg's right in the mix.
So that is the table following the first night's affairs. Robert Thornton, top of it, 8 points to his name, 4 victories, from 4. And as the night went on, we were seeing better performance. It was like he was growing into proceedings.
Yeah, it's been a good night. Like I said, Robert Thornton has not been at his best this week, but now he's got the 1 foot and he's just dipping his toe in for Saturday night. And I think Jeremy will be really happy with his night. He had a bit of unluckiness along the way for Rhys Robinson, a potential missed opportunity at the end there. It was a pretty dominant display there from Jeremy Fagg. Work to do for Chaz Barstow and for Sam Cankett.
What did you make of Chaz Barstow's performances tonight?
I think maybe I was a little bit too critical, but I promise you, it's because I have a lot of respect for him. I would even have said a year ago he was the best amateur player who didn't have a professional card. Just speaking to him this week, I knew with those various issues, he's just renovating a house, hasn't even got a board up in the house at the moment. So I wasn't 100% sure how he was going to come into it. I think he'd be a little bit disappointed to go away with 2 points.
So that is Group B. That's going to continue tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Reminder, we're going to rejoin you at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And we're going to conclude Group C, where it is Dom Taylor, who is top of the pile there. Glenn, thank you for your company today. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock, here at the MODUS Super Series to see how Group C concludes. But as far as Group B is concerned, where it's the Fawn who is at the crown in glory at the top of the table.